Hare Krishna. Welcome to this episode of Bhagavad Gita. Today's topic is how to conquer attachment, fear and anger according to Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 verse 10. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gunun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome to today's episode, Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 verse 10. We'll chant the word to word and then line by line. So please repeat after me. Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha Mat Maya Mam Upashritaha Bahavah Jnana Tapasah Putah Mat Bhavam Agatah Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mamupashritah Bahavo Jnana Tapasah Puta Madbhavamagatah Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mamupashritah Bahavo Jnana Tapasah Puta Madbhavamagatah Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mamupashritah Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhavamagatah. So welcome everyone. Hare Krishna. So many people are saying Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. My obeisances to you. So today we will try to go through this verse. Vita, freed from, Raga, attachment, Bhaya, fear, Krodha, and anger, Matmaya, fully in me, Mam, in me, Upashritah, being fully situated, Bahavah, many, Jnana, of knowledge, Tapasa, by the penance, Putah, being purified, Mat Bhavam, transcendental love for me, Agata, attained. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jaya. Translation: being freed from attachment, fear and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. So 3 things here: being freed from attachment, fear and anger. Now, of course, we have our definitions of attachment, fear and anger, but the original source of all these attachment, fear and anger is to be understood. And if you see in the purport, Prabhupada actually explains that original reason for all these things: attachment, fear and anger. So freed from attachment, fear and anger, there is actually a whole wide description of what is fear. Like, we become maybe fearful in the night, in the dark maybe, or we are attached to our family, or we may be fearful of our next, what is going to happen in the future. And anger, we may get angry with our, the people around us. So we may define them in these ways, but Prabhupada explains in a different way, and we will try to understand that. And once that is understood, we can automatically also solve these problems of anger, fear and attachment in our daily lives as well. So we will go through the explanation in the purport. So the main thing is, by attachment, by taking refuge of Kṛṣṇa, that means by taking shelter of Kṛṣṇa, Māmekam Sharanam Vraja, Krishna said in the 18th chapter. So by surrendering to Kṛṣṇa, one can actually get freed from attachment, fear and anger. And Kṛṣṇa is saying, like, if you remember what we said yesterday, what we learned yesterday, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So now he's saying that actually many people did that and already attained me. Puta madbhavam agataha. So they have attained transcendental love for me, by becoming purified by knowledge. So this is like a testimony, basically. So it's not that I am just telling you something. People have already taken advantage of this system that I have told you, and they have already attained success. So, and it is something that you can also attain by taking to this process. So, purport: as described above, it is very difficult for a person who is materially affected to understand the personal nature of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Generally, people who are attached to the bodily conception of life are so absorbed in materialism that it is almost impossible for them to understand how the Supreme can be a person. Now, this is interesting to understand, because in the material way of life, we think material body means a person, means like what we are or what we see around us. So everybody has imperfections, has so many, we ourselves are limited in so many ways, and everybody is limited. So person means for them a limited, as they say, even we are all after all human. That means we tend to make mistakes, we tend to be imperfect, we tend to be having emotions and all these things. So they think God means he should be above these limitations and imperfections. So he's like no emotions, no nothing. That's void. So that's their understanding. So they cannot accommodate the idea that God can be a person. When we say a person, then he has feelings, he has his thoughts, he has his ways of doing things. And yes, Kṛṣṇa is a person. It's not impersonal. God is not like some power and nobody there. No, he is a person. Yes, he has likes and dislikes, but his likes and dislikes are not imperfect like us. So we will see how Prabhupada explains here. So it is very difficult for a person who is too materially affected to understand the personal nature of the Absolute Truth. Generally, people who are attached to the bodily conception of life are so absorbed in materialism that it is almost impossible for them to understand how the Supreme can be a person. Such materialists cannot even imagine that there is a transcendental body which is imperishable, full of knowledge and eternally blissful. So again, we are in this world where we are used to thinking of person means like this, like a material body, and we know that this body will die one day, and we think a person means like that. So that therefore, and materially engrossed means so much in the material conception of life. There can't be anything other than this. When people think like that, then when this verse is there, Ishvara Parama Kṛṣṇa, we will go to that verse in a while, but in that verse it is said that Krishna has a body Satchidananda Vigraha. He has a form which is Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means eternal, Chit means full of knowledge, Ananda means full of bliss. So when we say this, they can't accommodate in this brain, and actually it is not meant to be accommodated in the brain, because this brain, this mind is, it is imperfect. It's a material ingredient. With a material ingredient we cannot understand what is spiritual, what is beyond. Achintyaha khaluye bhava natam starkena yojayet. What is beyond our conception? What is achintya? Achintya means that which is beyond our conception, inconceivable. So we cannot use our limited mind and intelligence to understand these things. So therefore we cannot go through this with logic and understanding. No, we have to surrender to the authoritative source of knowledge, that is Krishna, and then we have to receive that knowledge. Then it will be perfect. So such materialists cannot imagine that there is a transcendental body which is imperishable, full of knowledge and eternally blissful. In the materialistic concept, the body is perishable, full of ignorance and completely miserable. It is exact opposite. Now let us see the actual verse which says this. Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, verse 1. Ishvara Parama Kṛṣṇa Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the Supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. See, he has Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. His Vigraha, his form, is full of eternality, bliss and knowledge. If you see our body, it is full of ignorance, it is not eternal, and it is miserable. That is the nature of our body. So, that is what is being referred to here. It is almost impossible for them to understand how the Supreme can be a person and can have a body which is imperishable, full of knowledge and eternally blissful. So in the materialistic concept, the body is perishable, full of ignorance and completely miserable. Therefore, people in general keep this same bodily idea in mind when they are informed of the personal form of the Lord. So that's why sometimes people, when they come to us, when we say God is a person, they are like, what? Can you hear that? This is post-lockdown. The guy just honking away to glory. So, okay, what to do? So you see how the people in general keep the same bodily idea in mind when they are informed of the personal form of the Lord. So they just cannot accommodate. I mean, it's even for us, it's very hard to accommodate a body which is completely eternal, blissful and full of knowledge. So we immediately should not jump to a conclusion when we say personal form, for personal form like us. So because people usually jump to this conclusion, therefore in many scriptures, even in the Vedas, in the Upanishads, he is described in an impersonal way, like not stressing so much about his personality. The only stress that is given is that he is not like Neti. He does not have a body like us. Like in the Ishopanishad, classic example. Anejadetam manaso javiyo. So he does not walk, and at the same time he walks faster than anyone else. So how is that possible? With a material body, that's impossible. To walk and not walk at the same time is impossible. But he can do that. How can he do that? So that is spiritual body. So there is a hint like that he walks and does not walk. He is far and near at the same time. So this is very hard to understand. So if a person has a body like what we have, he cannot be far and near at the same time. You see, that is not possible. It may be possible by this live stream, but I myself am not there in your living room. So, but the absolute truth can be there, and he is there actually already. It's just that how much are we conscious of the fact. So, therefore, to have a materialistic idea, we will come to a wrong understanding. So, therefore, people in general keep the same bodily idea in mind when they are informed of the personal form of the Lord. For such materialistic men, the form of the gigantic material manifestation is supreme. So, they are usually directed toward the universal form. They are usually directed towards worshipping the universal form. That's why it is said in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Kṛṣṇa showed his universal form, and there it is said that the sun and the moon are his eyes. So, something that we can see, basically. Something that we can see the sun, we can see the moon. So to say that they are the eyes of the Lord, okay, there is at least some tangible thing that we can see and start our meditation on the Lord. You see? And to give even more mercy, he has come in the Archa Vigraha, which is the deity form, because we cannot really understand the Lord. So he has come in the deity form of the Lord, and he is showing himself. So usually such people, and of course deity means we have to accept the personality of Kṛṣṇa. Only then deity worship can be done. But for those who do not want to do this, so therefore they are given chance to at least start meditating on the universal form first. Oh, I am the taste of water. Oh, I am among the shark. Among the fish, I am the shark. Among the animals, I am the lion. Among the stars, I am the moon. So in this way, in different ways, one is made to slowly meditate on the personal aspect in a very indirect way. That's why you see, in the 9th chapter, we will see this distinction between the 3 classes of people. There are many kinds of transcendentalists. You see, this is the topmost transcendentalist, the devotee, whom Kṛṣṇa qualified as Mahatma. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritimashritah bhajantyανanya manaso jnatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. So these Mahatmas, they actually know Kṛṣṇa as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they are under the protection of the divine energy Yogamaya, and they are fully engaged in devotional service. Bhajanti ananya manaso, that is their symptom of the transcendentalist, pure devotee. Now, what about those? Okay, not yet. So next one is also about the pure devotees. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So they chant his names, they chant his glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So this is the pure devotees, the topmost transcendentalists. So there are others. What about them? Jnana yajnena chapyanye yajanto mamupasate ekatvena prithaktvena bahudha vishvato mukham. You see vishvato mukham, you can see the translation there, in the universal form. Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second. as diverse in many and in the universal form. See that? So these are different kinds of transcendentalists who are lesser than devotees. So what is that? One who engages jnana yajnana, who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge, who are trying to have this cultivation of knowledge by speculation, and then worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second. Ekatvena. This is called like Advaitam, the Brahman. Ekatvena. So as the Lord as one without a second, as diverse in many, prathak. So they say, oh, God is everywhere. Service to man is service to God. These kind of faulty understandings, or they think all gods are the same, or everybody is God. These kinds of ideas. So these are faulty ideas. But then finally there is another one, Vishvatomukham, and in the universal form. So these people, they are lesser than the devotees. It is not a fact that as they say, Manav Seva is Madhav Seva. It is not a fact. Madhav Seva is Seva for not only Manav but also the Jantu and also the Devata, everybody. Because Yatha Taror Mula Nishechanena Tripyanti Tatskandha Bhujopashakha Pranopahara Chayatendriyanam 4.31.14. See, Tathaiva Sarvar Hanamachyutejya. So this verse 4.31.14, it is said, as pouring water on the root of a tree energizes the trunk, branches, twigs and everything else, and as supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses and limbs of the body, simply worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies the demigods who are parts of that Supreme Personality. And not only demigods, everybody. Sarva Arhanam. Sarva means all. Not only demigods, even everybody. So, that is the proper way to water a tree, to water its root. Then automatically all the branches, leaves, flowers, fruits, everything will get energized. But if you water a leaf, that is not called watering the tree. So similarly, leaf, just one part of Krishna's existence is humans. Just by serving them, you are not serving Krishna. And Prabhupada, there was one conversation where one person came to him and said, but Manav Seva is Madhav Seva. What is your thought? So Prabhupada said, then if that is the case, if Manav Seva is Madhav Seva, then Madhav Seva is Manav Seva. Right? If A is equal to B, B is equal to A. So if Manav Seva is Madhav Seva, then Madhav Seva is Manav Seva. Then our process is superior because by just serving Madhav, we are serving all Manav. But for you to do Madhav Seva, you have to serve all Manav, then only you can serve Madhav. So you have to serve, how many Manav are there? Maybe 7 billion in population, 7.7 billion, I don't know what is the population now. All of them you serve and then your service to Madhav is complete. Whereas we are serving Madhav nicely and automatically Manav is being satisfied. Just by glorifying Krishna, sharing his message, all the people who hear are glorified. Just by offering him food and distribution, all the Manav are spiritually and materially satisfied. Materially their stomachs are satisfied, but spiritually also they are satisfied because they are eating the prasadam of Krishna. So without even them knowing, they are committing pious activities. They are going closer to Krishna. So this is Agyata Sukriti. Without even knowing they are committing pious activities. They are engaging in devotional service without even knowing. So in this way, they are being introduced to the Krishna consciousness. So that will ultimately save them from all problems. Because their real problem is lack of Krishna consciousness. Now they think their problem is, oh, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough food, or I don't have a life partner, or I don't have a business partner, or I don't have a business, or I don't have I'm not enjoying my job. People think these are the actual problems of life. But no, these are symptoms of the real problem. The real problem is we are here in this material world because we have neglected Kṛṣṇa, and because of that we have to struggle in so many ways. If we solve one problem, there will be another problem. If we solve that problem, there will be another 10 problems. So in this way it is only just increasing. To go faster, they thought going slow is so bad, we have to go fast. So for that they have to build automobiles, and it is very expensive, and to buy those automobiles people work hard, and then they have to build roads for that, the infrastructure, the petrol. So for that, for the petrols, they have to drill the oceans, and that is a big endeavor in itself. And sometimes there is oil spill, and so much natural devastation happens. And also even if everything goes all right, there is so much pollution in the air. So to solve one problem, they are creating hundreds of problems, and they are trying to solve then hundreds of problems, and in that process they are creating thousands of problems, and then they are trying to solve thousands of problems, creating millions of problems. This is how materialistic civilization is going on. So if we try to combat the material problem with a material solution, we will end up in hundreds of more problems, and just our whole civilization is just wasted trying to counteract these problems only. This is called struggle for existence. Whereas we have to address the problem at its root. Why are we really suffering? What is the cause? Oh, we are born in this world, and once we are born, everything else starts. Birth, after birth, disease, old age, death, and between that there is tapatraya, adhyatmic, adhibhautik, adhidaivik miseries. So it just goes on and on. So the thing is birth. So how to stop birth? Not by contraception. That's not the solution at all. That is even more sinful. The thing is that we are taking birth again and again and again. Contraception means what? The soul which was supposed to come, okay, it is not coming. Now he will go to another body somewhere else to find shelter. It is not that we are stopping. No, he's going to take birth anyway. No, but the thing is, now we are going to, what is that? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Iha samsare bahudustare kripaya pare pahi murare. So the Shankaracharya is saying this, that just like we are, and also Bhagavad Gita also says, Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha. So as we take birth, death is certain. So similarly, for the person who died, birth is certain. It is just a natural consequence. It's a natural sequence, sorry. So now we have to stop that. After this, now that this body has taken birth, it has to die. But after this death, we should not take birth again. Then automatically every other problem is solved. For example, it is like this. Suppose in my dream, if I am sleeping and I'm having so many problems in my dream. Somebody is attacking, or maybe I'm hungry, and then at the same time, so many things are happening. Just imagine. So, how to solve all these problems in the dream? The best way is to wake up. And that's what we should do. We should wake up spiritually. We are in this dreaming slumber state where we are dreaming. All this, what we are experiencing in this world is a dream. We have to wake up. That is the real solution for the whole thing. Suppose somebody is shouting, "Oh, tiger is attacking me. In the dream, if he shouts, then the person who is the friend, sitting beside him, "Oh, what tiger? Tiger is attacking me, save me. Then what he does? He tries to go into the dream and fight the tiger. No, he just pushes me. Hey, wake up! What are you doing? Then he wakes up and oh, okay, there's no tiger. So that's what is real help. The root of the problem is that he is hallucinating. It is not, the tiger is not the problem, and nothing is the problem. His hallucination is the problem. So similarly, our hallucination, we are thinking that this is reality and trying to solve this by various other so-called solutions. No, it will not help. Our modern civilization is built like this, but it will not help. So we have to water the root of the tree, and that is Kṛṣṇa. We have forgotten Kṛṣṇa, and therefore we have started this hallucinating life. That is why it is said, what is that? पिशाची पाइले जेना मति छन्न होय मायाग्रस्त जीवर होय से भावाउद होय. So a person who is ghostly haunted, he will speak deliriously, he will speak nonsense, complete rubbish, but the problem is he is ghostly haunted. We cannot say, oh, how you can talk like this, how you can say like this. No point. The main thing is he has to be removed from that ghostly hauntedness. So that thing has to be removed. So similarly, the problem here is we have forgotten Kṛṣṇa. Jiver Swarup hoy Kṛṣṇer Nityadas. That's our original position, that we are servant of Kṛṣṇa. But now we have forgotten that, and therefore we are facing this hallucination. We are in this illusion, Maya. Maya means illusion. So therefore, when a person is ghostly haunted, then there is fear, then there is attachment, then there is anger. Okay, let's go to back to the verse. Okay. So therefore, people in general, okay, this we have read. Consequently, they consider the Supreme to be impersonal. See, for such materialistic men, the form of the gigantic material manifestation is supreme. Consequently, they consider the Supreme to be impersonal, because universal form, sun is the eye, moon is the eye. That means it's not a person like what we know a person is. Two eyes are just beside each other. Why one eye is there, one eye is here? So it's not like a structure, So they think, okay, it is okay in this way. It is described. Okay, actually it is impersonal. Just trying to make a personality out of the impersonal. That kind of understanding they have. So they can't meditate on a beautiful form, because the gigantic material form is not actually beautiful. There's like the mountains are the bones. Is explained like that. The universal form of the Lord. So how to even imagine as a one person that sun is the eye, moon is the eye, and the mountains are persons, clouds are the hair, and the tree hair on the head, and then trees are the hair on the body of the universal form. In this way, how to even imagine a person with that explanation? It's very hard. And actually, that's why it is said many places, it is an imagination. So but actually the point there, why it is suggested then? It is to forcefully bring the mind of a person whose tendency is towards impersonalism, to forcibly bring his mind to personal aspect. And then finally get to the point where the actual form of the Lord is described. But that whole thing, that whole journey, that difficult journey is completely solved by deity, the Archa Murti, Archa Vigraha. That's why the deity form is such a merciful manifestation of the Lord, that without having to go through all these difficult meditations, just by looking at the deity, immediately beautiful. And one is automatically attached to the personal form of the Lord. See? So, reading on. And because they are too materially, and because they are too materially absorbed, the conception of retaining the personality after liberation from matter frightens them. See, this is important. The thought of retaining personality after liberation from matter frightens them. So this is bhaya. Why there is bhaya? Because they think, being a person is already so miserable in this world, and if I am after liberation also, I am still a person. Wow, I have to again undergo all these tribulations. No, that's not good. So they become frightened. So they prefer that we all are finished, and then we become one, and then that's why they say rest in peace. One thing we have to understand, that there is absolutely no rest for the soul. It is not that the soul is resting 6 feet under the ground. No, there's no such thing. The soul never rests, because the soul is active. We are active. A dead matter, yes, he will be resting. A stone will rest. in peace or in pieces, but it will rest. That is because it's a stone. How are we to rest? In fact, the only point at which the body actually rests is when it's so-called dead. Even we are sleeping, the body is moving, and in our dreams we are moving in our subtle body. The very nature of the soul is to be active. How can we become dead? No. There's no such thing as rest in peace. It is a complete nonsense idea. The soul goes to the next part of the next phase of the journey, and is busily going and is moving here and there. Ei Brahmanda Brahmite. He's moving. So finally, when this whole material life is finished, and then they want to, let me just rest, because too much movement as a person, I've been moving in this world, for so many years, for so many lifetimes. Let me just finish all this and rest in peace. Even in spiritual life, there is full of movement. The spiritual life is fully active. In fact, if we are active while we are in diseased condition, suppose any doctor will know this, anybody, with common sense will know this, that if a person has fever, he can still walk, he can still eat, but he cannot eat as he is when he is healthy. And he cannot walk and jump, of course, he can't jump, he can't run and all. He can walk slowly, he will have body pains and all that. So, even in feverish condition, he can still move. Now, after being cured from the fever, does he stop moving? No more moving. That's it, bedridden. Is that called cured? No, that is even, the condition is, he has to be sent to ICU. That's not cure. That means he is in a critical condition. ICU, either you die, or we see each other in next life, or I'll see you back from the hospital at home. I don't know what that ICU means. Intensive critical unit. So, if he has stopped breathing immediately, big emergency, right? So, how can we say that by curing ourselves of this material disease, we become completely, inanimate, still? That is foolishness. So that means if even in feverish condition he can move here and there a little bit, that means in healthy condition how much more he should be moving? He should be jumping, he should be traveling, he should be everything, right? So similarly we should understand that even in the material life, if we are moving so much, that means in spiritual life we will be moving far more. Just like, for example, Narad Muni. Narad Muni is going, the whole universe is traveling, he is preaching. Whole universe, no, complete freedom, no restrictions. He doesn't need visa and doesn't need passport, nothing. Planet to planet, country to country, anywhere he can go. So that is freedom. That is real spiritual activity. It means there is no restriction. Now we are restricted. This is our problem. When we want to reform something, we want to kill it. Like, for example, caste system. It was, people were discriminating based on caste. Okay, abolish the caste system. That's not the solution. If caste system is the problem, why was it mentioned in the Vedas? Or they think, Vedas are all old school, this is primitive times, now modern, we have to all be equal. No, it's rubbish. It's a completely scientific system, caste system. But it is not based on Janma. That was the problem. It was misused, it was abused. But that doesn't mean it cannot be properly used. And actually, Gunakarma Vibhagashaha, that Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Gunakarma Vibhagashaha, Kṛṣṇa says in the Bhagavad Gita here. You see? According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. So when Kṛṣṇa created, how can there be fault in that? So to see fault is wrong. So, but if somebody is misusing that means something is wrong, something is being wrongly interpreted. So that interpretation has to be taken out and presented as it is, then it will make sense. So when something is misrepresented, it is not that that thing is false, it is misrepresented. There is a truthful way to represent it, and that is what should be done. The problem with us is, especially in this material world, when we want to talking about reform, we should abolish all these oh, this caste system, we should abolish. And also, what is the other one? Yeah, deity worship. Oh, because idol worship. Okay, remove the whole deity worship, idol worship. They want to just remove everything. It's like Prabhupada said, if the eye has a cataract, oh, you have an eye problem. Okay, I have a solution where you will have no more eye problems. I'll take out your eye. Where is the no more problem? You will never have eye problem because you will never have an eye. So what kind of doctor is that? Is that called curing the problem? Oh, you have eye problem, take out the eye. No, that cataract has to be removed. So similarly, when there is a problem, that means something is not being followed in the right way. So that has to be restored to its correct representation. But if we say that, oh, this is a problem, I'm going to take it out, that is not going to solve anything. In fact, it is going to create even more problems. Because we're going against the Lord. So, basically, this impersonal understanding is also like that. Oh, activity. This world is full of activity, but it's full of problems. So many problems in this world. That means, okay, let us solve all this and finish all activity. Finish. Because I cannot eat properly when I am eating. When I'm having fever, it doesn't mean that okay, stop eating. Eating is a problem. It is troublesome. Eating is troublesome. No, eating is not troublesome. My eating in this condition, feverish condition, is troublesome. That fever has to be removed, then eating will be pleasurable. Like that. Walking is troublesome. Yeah, when the fever is gone, jumping will be pleasurable. So, the problem is not, the solution is not to stop it, but to rectify it. That's what we should do. So, impersonal philosophy is complete rubbish because they're in this stopping everything. They're making the rest in peace. What rest in peace? So, here, consequently, they consider the Supreme to be impersonal, and because they are too materially absorbed, the conception of retaining the personality after liberation from matter frightens them. It's like a man with fever thinking, even after getting healthy, I have to still eat. Better I don't get healthy. Better I commit suicide. Then there is no more eating, no more suffering of eating. This is the reason why people commit suicide. Recently, some Bollywood actor committed suicide. They think again the same nonsense again. They face a problem. I don't know whether it was. I actually did not see the news, but some love story failure or whatever it was. So they have a problem. To solve the problem, they think that I am having problem because I am living. So if I kill myself, no more problem. But then you will also not be there. This is what they think. But actually, their problem increases when they do that. Because after suicide, the person gets a ghostly body. And he will live on for not only the length of time that he was supposed to live, but even longer. And he has created for himself a situation far worse than he was already in. If I have a fever because it is 108 degrees Fahrenheit or maybe 40 degrees Celsius, temperature is a problem. Just finish, make it 0. That means what? Dead. That's dead. It has to be brought back to its original state, which is like 37.6, something like that. So that is the proper temperature. So just because the temperature is bad, whole temperature take out, 0 degrees Celsius. What is that? Dead. He's breathing. Take out the breathing. Dead. So this is not solution at all. So this is based on fear. And why fear actually happens. You see? Fear happens, it is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, verse 37. See? Bhayam dvitiyabhiniveshatah syat ishadapetasya viparyayo smritihi tanmayayato buddha abhajetam bhaktyayikayesham gurudevatatma. Fear arises when a living entity misidentifies himself as the material body. This is when fear arises. because of absorption in the external illusory energy of the Lord. When the living entity thus turns away from the Supreme Lord, he also forgets his own constitutional position as a servant of the Lord. This bewildering, fearful condition is affected by the potency for illusion called Maya. Therefore, an intelligent person should engage unflinchingly in the unalloyed devotional service of the Lord under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, whom he should accept as his worshipable deity and as his very life and soul. See? Fear arises when we turn away from Kṛṣṇa. Just like, when we are a small child, the child is fearless because he doesn't have to think about maintaining himself, he doesn't have to worry much if he has able parents. But the fear starts when one starts to stand on his own legs, own feet. So that's when the fear starts, because now we have to take responsibility for everything that we do. So a devotee always depends on the Lord. Of course, he maturely also serves the Lord, but for his own maintenance, he depends on the Lord. And therefore, he is completely fearless. But when we turn away from him, now we have to fend for ourselves. We have gone against the protection of the Lord. Of course, still the Lord protects, because we can't really exist. We can't exist at all without the protection of the Lord. If he does not give us air, if he does not give us water, if he does not give us grains, we can't even eat. We can't even live. So still he is protecting, but the thing is, we forgot that he is protecting. So he will protect anyway. But one who knows that he will be protected by the Lord, he is without fear. But when one is not aware of it, then he is in fear. So, according to Śrīla Swami, the objection may be raised that since fear is caused by ignorance, it can be dispelled by knowledge, and there is no need to worship the Supreme Lord. The living entity falsely identifies with his material body, family, society, and so on, and he simply has to give up this false identification. Then what will Maya be able to do? In reply to this argument, Śrīla Swami has quoted the following verse from Bhagavad Gita: Daivi hiesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mamevaya prapadyante mayametam tarantate. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. The living entity called Jiva Tattva is one of the potencies of the Supreme Lord, but the constitutional position of the living entity is tatastha, or marginal. Being minute, every living entity is eternally dependent upon the Supreme Living Entity Kṛṣṇa. This is confirmed in the Vedic literature as follows: Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. Among all the eternally conscious beings, there is one supreme eternal living being who is supplying the needs of all other innumerable others. Katha Upanishad 2.1.12. Krishnadas Kaviraj has stated, Ekale Ishwar Kṛṣṇa Arsabhritya. Kṛṣṇa is the only independent controller, all other living entities depend upon him. So when we forget this fact, you see here, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that when the living entity develops a spirit of independence, he is forced to come to the material world, where he enters into various types of petty and undesirable behavior that create a fearful situation for him. The Bahiranga Shakti, the illusory potency of the Supreme Lord, covers all trace of the Chit Shakti and imposes one material body after another upon the living entity for his gross sinful enjoyment. So this is how we are put into fear because of giving up on Kṛṣṇa. All other fear, if you have fear of your future, fear of in the night, or all this is coming from that one, the original fear, that we have to fend for ourselves, or so we think, because actually we can't fend for ourselves. The Lord has to give us everything, but of course we have to still work hard. But that is how we are in this material world. Therefore, fear is one of the chief driving forces. Why people go to work? Because it's a fear, because if they don't get money, they will starve. That's the fear. So fear is pushing everybody in this world. Attachment is another real big push. Because of attachment to family members, one works hard day and night, trying to appease them, trying to make them happy and create a so-called future for them. Because of attachment, because of fear. So these two things are playing a huge role in pushing us in this material world. It's a struggle for existence. And we have so many sense gratifications, plans for sense gratification, and they are repeatedly frustrated because we can't really enjoy our senses to the max all the time. Every time our struggle is, always coming in the way of our sense gratification. And even the sense gratification, even if we try to have, we can't have it for eternity. After some time it is finished. And that brings frustration. After trying so much in life, for example, like in a family, the man tries so hard to maintain his family, but at the end the family members neglect him when he's old, and it's frustrating. And everything, it ends like that. Like Gandhi, for example, he wanted to be the father of he's called even now father of the nation, father of India, but his plans were frustrated. He was shot dead. He fought for the country so much, and his own men shot him dead. So this is the way material service is, and it's always going to be like that. It's going to be frustrating, and that will bring anger. So this is why there is raga, bhaya, krodha. So okay, now Prabhupada explains in an even higher sense. You see this. And because they are too materially absorbed, the conception of retaining the personality after liberation from matter frightens them. When they are informed that spiritual life is also individual and personal, they become afraid of becoming persons again. And so they naturally prefer a kind of merging into the impersonal void. Generally, they compare the living entities to the bubbles of the ocean which merge into the ocean. That is the highest perfection of spiritual existence, attainable without individual personality. So, without individual personality, the highest attainment can be had is merging into the Absolute, into the Brahma Jyoti. But that is not the highest. Only with the negation of the conception of individuality, that appears to be the highest. Because they don't have information of the higher devotional service. They don't have information of Paramatma or Bhagavan. Therefore, they think Brahman is the highest. That is the highest perfection of spiritual existence, attainable without individual personality. This is a kind of fearful stage of life, devoid of perfect knowledge of spiritual existence. So you see, when there is no knowledge, like for example in the darkness, why we feel fear? Why do we feel fear? Because we do not know what is around us. So because we don't have knowledge of what is around us, that ignorance brings us fear. So there are three things that happen when there is no sun. There is, it becomes cold, it becomes dark, and becomes scary. These three things. So there's these three things happen. So shoka, moha, bhaya happens when we go away from the Lord. So like that, here also, this is a kind of fearful stage of life, devoid of perfect knowledge of spiritual existence. Furthermore, there are many persons who cannot understand spiritual existence at all. They cannot understand. Being embarrassed by so many theories and by contradictions of various types of philosophical speculation, they become disgusted or angry and foolishly conclude that there is no supreme cause and that everything is ultimately void. We see many people like this today in Kali Yuga. So many. They have been embarrassed by so many theories and contradictions of various types of philosophical speculation. They become disgusted or angry. So this person is saying like this person, you know what, nothing is true, there's just nothing supreme. So this is out of anger, out of their own frustration, because they cannot come to a conclusion. They don't have an answer actually, but they just deny everything and say that everything was ultimately void. Such people are in a diseased condition of life. They are not in the same condition they're diseased. Some people are too materially attached and therefore do not give attention to spiritual life. Some of them want to merge into the supreme spiritual cause, and some of them disbelieve in everything, being angry at all sorts of spiritual speculation out of hopelessness. So these are raga, bhaya, krodha. What is that? Raga. Some people are too materially attached, raga, and therefore do not give attention to spiritual life. Some of them want to merge into the supreme spiritual cause, because for them, retaining a personality after, given their experience of material personalities that they have been, and with experience with other material personalities, to maintain a personality after liberation is again, no. So they are into this. So they are out of fear. So the impersonalists are acting on the platform of fear. And some of them disbelieve in everything, being angry at all sorts of spiritual speculation out of hopelessness. This is krodha. Raga, bhaya, krodha. This last class of men take to the shelter of some kind of intoxication, and their affective hallucinations are sometimes accepted as spiritual vision. So like the hippies, or even normal people, they get intoxicated because they're frustrated. Why does anybody need intoxication if he's happy? He's frustrated with his life, that's why he's having intoxication. Otherwise he just can't continue with his life like that. He just wants to forget his troubles for a while. They get intoxicated. But that is out of frustration, out of anger. Although it may not be like anger, his face is not like, but that is what is fueling. He is hopeless. That's why a spiritualist who is full in Krishna consciousness, why does he need to take an intoxication? He does not need, because he's always happy. Why do people want all this entertainment? First of all, why do they even want a weekend where they are away from work? Because they just can't put up with it every single day. They just can't put up. Whereas devotees, we don't want a weekend. In fact, weekday or weekend is same, or even sometimes weekend is even more busier than a weekday, because in weekends people come more to the temple. So weekdays are busy and weekends are busier. So that's what we want to be as devotees. We don't want a holiday. Why do we want holiday from happiness? People want a holiday because they are suffering. They want to enjoy. Hare, at least some 14 days leave in a year. They get out from this work for a while. So they want, or a sabbatical. Take a holiday once a year, or once in 2 years, something like that. Devotees don't need a holiday. They are always happy, engaged in Krishna consciousness. In fact, no pay. We don't have a pay here. We don't have a salary. But still, we work more than so-called karmis in the offices. Our day starts at 4 a.m. So for some even before that, and then ends at what? 10, 11, 12 sometimes. Yes, sometimes there is some afternoon nap, but other than that, fully, devotional service. So, who actually, if the body doesn't need sleep, the devotees don't even need sleep. They don't want sleep, but because the body cannot be maintained, otherwise they have to sleep. Prabhupada always, before he started to sleep, he would say, now I'm going to waste my time. And then he will pull the rug over him and sleep. I'm going to waste my time. Sleeping is a waste of time for the devotee. So like that, like Prabhupada, when he conducted the whole worldwide mission, he did not have any pay. Not even a single cent he took. So that is the effect of a person who is actually happy, and that is only possible with Krishna consciousness. No other life can give that uninterrupted happiness. So this last class of men take to the shelter of some kind of intoxication. And when we say intoxication, it can mean anything. Not only cigarette and alcohol and drugs or tea and coffee, but anything. We are already intoxicated with the bodily concept of life. To just increase that feverish condition, that is intoxication. Even it is mental intoxication. Just watching some entertainment, or watching something, or reading about novels, this is all intoxication. Just increasing the intoxication of the materialistic concept of life. What is intoxication? Intoxication means you have forgotten yourself. When we forget ourselves, then we are intoxicated. We are That means we don't behave as we should when we are sober. That is intoxicated. So everybody in this world is intoxicated with the bodily concept of life because they are not sober. Dhiras tatra na muhyati. Dhira means one who is sober. He is not affected by all these seasonal changes or circumstantial changes that happen. But people, they are moved by these things. That means they are in an intoxicated condition. They are not talking as they should. They are not doing as they should. Everybody is a madman here. So everybody is intoxicated here. What is that? We have already quoted. Pisachi paile jena mati channa hoy. Mati channa. That means our mind is clouded. That's what happens when one is haunted, ghostly haunted, or when one is intoxicated also. Same thing. His mati channa. His brain doesn't work as it should. So in this world, everybody is already intoxicated and they're behaving deliriously. And taking to some shelter of some kind of intoxication means it can be anything, any material activity, just meant to forget. Even a holiday, a sabbatical, a material sabbatical. Of course, if you go on a pilgrimage, if you come to the devotees and serve, that is a different holiday. That's actually proper holiday. That's why before this traveling and this tourist business is not there. Tourism is not the real deal at all. People used to travel to holy places. If they at all travel, they travel to holy places, and it used to be a pilgrimage. But that, because of atheism, has been replaced by tourism. So, and when they go there to the holy places, they are supposed to associate with sadhus and learn about spiritual life. The whole point of taking a sabbatical or a holiday from materialistic life is so that enough of this, let's take a holiday, let's go to some pilgrimage, let's become spiritually inclined more. Let's take a break from material life and engage in spiritual life. But now the holiday means give up this hard work of material life and try to enjoy again material life. That is their idea of. They're just accepting another form of material life, for which they have to struggle again. The money required for travel, everything they have to get it because they work harder in the office so that they can get some bonus or they'll get leave, approval and all that. And then they have to go, and traveling is all hard when they go and then enjoy for a while, but then it is not going to last. One is always reminded again of the problems back at home, and again he has to come back. So it is just a hallucination. All this, everything else other than Krishna consciousness is intoxication. One has to get rid of all three stages of attachment to the material world. What are they? Negligence of spiritual life, fear of a spiritual personal identity, and conception of void that arises from frustration in life. One has to get rid of these three stages. And everything else, every other form of attachment, fear and anger is a sub or a subset of this description of attachment, fear and anger. To get free from these three stages of the material concept of life, one has to take complete shelter of the Lord. That's the only way. Because mamevaya prapadyante mayametam tarantate. Otherwise, daivi hiyasha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. It is impossible to cross over this fear and frustration and everything. It's impossible to cross this. Only one has to take complete shelter of the Lord, guided by the bona fide spiritual master, and follow the disciplines and regulative principles of devotional life. The last stage of the devotional life is called bhava, or transcendental love of Godhead. According to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.4.15 and 16, the signs of devotional service is described as follows. Ādau shraddha tatah sadhu sango atha bhajana kriya tato nartha nivritti syat tato nishtha ruchis tatah athasaktis tato bhavas tatah premabhyudanchati sadhakanam ayam premna pradurbhave bhavet kramaha. In the beginning, one must have a preliminary desire for self-realization. This will bring one to the stage of trying to associate with persons who are spiritually elevated. First, preliminary desire, Ado Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha. So that means associate with persons who are spiritually elevated. Then, in the next stage, one becomes initiated by an elevated spiritual master, and under his guidance, under his instruction, the neophyte devotee begins the process of devotional service. By execution of devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master, one becomes free from all material attachment, attains steadiness in self-realization, and acquires a taste for hearing about the absolute personality of Godhead. We are going through the chronological order of advancement. Acquires a taste for hearing about the absolute personality of Godhead, Sri Kṛṣṇa. This taste leads one further forward to attachment for Krishna consciousness, which is matured in bhava, or the preliminary stage of transcendental love of God. Real love for God is called prema, the highest perfectional stage of life. In the prema stage, there is constant engagement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So, by the slow process of devotional service, under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, one can attain the highest stage, being free from all material attachment, from the fearfulness of one's individual spiritual personality, and from the frustrations that result in void philosophy. Then one can ultimately attain to the abode of the Supreme Lord. So, Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha. So, Vita means freed from. So, to be freed from these three things means we have to take Manmaya Mamupashrita. We have to take shelter of Krishna through his authorized representative. Then, yes, we can go through or pass through. We can come above all these things, these attachments. And Bahavo Jnana Tapasa. Many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me and by austerities. Thus they attained transcendental love for me. So this is how we have to take. So that's why material life is actually pavarga. Pavarga means pa, pa, ba, bha, ma. That is called pavarga. Varga means the category. So pa stands for parishram. Parishram means hard labor. In this material world, we have to labor very hard. And pa means pena. Pena means foaming in the mouth. So hard, working so hard that we're foam in the mouth. And some people are exhausted. Here in Singapore, at least 12 hours they work a day, and traveling back and forth, exhausted. They don't have any time for anything else. Some of the devotees, even they also say that work is so hard here, and we just managed to scrape through 16 rounds, and somehow we are able to finish. It's very difficult, So that is the kind of work one has to do in this material world, especially in this Kali Yuga. For a little bit, we have to work so hard. Whereas those who had their own land, they used to work hard, yes, but the amount that they get, the returns, is way more than what people get here. Basically, what we just need food to eat, clothing to wear, and some shelter to stay in. That's it. Other than that, everything else is a extravagance. So that is pena, pa, ba. Ba means vyartatha, means frustration, anger. And bha means bhaya. Bhaya means fear. And ma means marana, mrityu, death. So this is material life. Therefore, spiritual life is called apavarga vartmani. It means opposite to these things. No, not hard work. Of course, the Goswamis, they slept only 2 hours. But it is not hard work. Hard work. Work feels hard when we don't really like it. When we like it, that work is not hard. That is enjoyment. Right? It's hard when it is not enjoyable. When it is enjoyable, it's not hard. So, for everyone has to spend 24 hours a day. Either way. So how are we doing that? That is what matters. So if we are dragging our feet, and that is hard. That is hard. But if one is enjoying himself, that is not hard work. Of course, there is always exertion that is there, but with pleasure. There is a labor of love. Like a mother, she has to care so much for the child. That is hard work. But because of the love for the child, she actually enjoys it. So like that, devotee will work very hard for the Lord, but he actually enjoys such work. And actually, there is a very nice verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, 5th chapter, I think 47. Yeah. Klesha bhuri alpasarani karmani vifalani va dehinam vishayartanam natathaivarpitam tvayi. Karmis are always anxious to accumulate wealth for their sense gratification, but for that purpose they must work very hard. Yet, even though they work hard, the results are not satisfying. Indeed, sometimes their work results only in frustration. But devotees who have dedicated their lives to the service of the Lord can achieve substantial results without working very hard. These results exceed the devotees' expectations. See? This is how it is explained. So, actually, I was seeing one verse, 1 second. Yeah, 7, 13, 34. Okay, these are some of the symptoms of material life. 7.13.34 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Shoka moha bhaya krodha raga klaibya shramadayah yanmulaha syur nirnam jahyat spriham pranarthayor buddha. Those in human society who are intelligent should give up the original cause of lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, attachment, poverty and unnecessary labor. The original cause of all of these is the desire for unnecessary prestige and money. Now you know where the root is. That's why, what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. I don't want wealth, I don't want prestige, I don't want women. This, then what do you want? Mama janmani janmanishware. I don't even want the spiritual world. If you think that I should be here in the material world, so be it. Whatever is your desire. But please, one thing I ask, that please, what is that? Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir ahaituki tvai. Give me unmotivated devotional service unto you. And I think Prabhu was showing one nice verse. We will go there and come back here, because I want to read this purport of this verse because this is very important. But we will go to this verse. Prabhu actually shared this today, Sundagopal Prabhu. It was nice actually. 6:9:49 I think, or 48. This, you see this 6.9.48 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Kim durapam mayi prite tathapi vibudharshabhah mayye kantamatirnanyan matto vanchati tattvavit. Oh, there is a Tattvavit there. O best of the intelligent demigods, although it is true that nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, you see, although it is true that nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, a pure devotee whose mind is exclusively fixed upon me does not ask me for anything but the opportunity to engage in devotional service. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also taught us this. Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti rahaitukitvahi. I am not even asking that I want to go back to the spiritual world. Just give me your service. That's all I want. I want to be your servant. There is a verse, 3rd canto, 29th chapter, verse 13. Salokya sarshti samipya sarupya ikattvamapyuta diyamanam na grihananti vinamat sevanam janah. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, salokya, sarshti, samipya, sarupya or ekatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What are these kinds of liberation? Salokya, sarshti. Salokya means to be on the same planet as the Lord, on the Vaikuntha planet. Sarshti means to have the same opulence of the Lord. Samipya means to be close associate of the Lord, intimate associate. And Sarupya means to have the same bodily features as the Lord in the spiritual world. Like Vishnudutas, when Ajamil saw the Vishnudutas, they look like Vishnu, just like Vishnu. Same bodily color, four-handed, beautiful features, exceptional opulence. So that is Sarupya. Or Ekatva, to merge into the. Ekatva means no individuality, becoming one with the Lord, merging into his effulgence. So a pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is because he only wants to serve the Lord. That's all he wants. I think that is okay. So going back there, okay, you see this. Those in human society who are intelligent should give up the original cause of lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, attachment, poverty, and unnecessary labor. The original cause of all of these is the desire for unnecessary prestige and money. So this is 7.13.34 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, purport. Here is the difference between Vedic civilization and the modern demoniac civilization. Vedic civilization concerned itself with how to achieve self-realization, and for this purpose one was recommended to have a small income to maintain body and soul together. The society was divided into Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, and the members of this society would limit their endeavors to meeting their minimum demands. See that? This is spiritual life, spiritual or Vedic civilization. People are graded according to their financial capacities today, and person is first class. He will get a first class airplane seat if he can pay the money. Money rules. Whereas the real proper way should be that the devotees should be given the first class seat, because they are the first class people in the society. Actually, the Brahmanas, they are the first class, and of course they can't demand these things, but it should be understood by the people in general that this is the first class. The devotee does not demand. He is so humble, just like Prabhupada. Forget about aeroplane, first class, third class. He went on a ship. He went on a ship to America, halfway across the globe, to preach Krishna consciousness. He was undertaking the most purifying mission, the most important mission in the entire world, alone, and he went on a ship. And that too, not a passenger cruise ship having fun time, no, on a freighter, and he suffered 2 heart attacks, and mind you, he was 70 years old, and he went like that. So a devotee is so humble that he will take all risks and all troubles, knowing well that people won't recognize anything. That's why Prabhupada many times said, preaching is a thankless task. Nobody will thank you for it, but still you have to preach. That is preacher. Because when he says something, people get angry. Oh, how you can say like this, Is this a thankless task? Because sadhu's words are to cut the material attachment. And sometimes it is hard for the person who is actually in raga. Today's Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. Those who are in Raga, Bhaya and Krodha, they just can't give up the idea of materialistic life. For them, that is enjoyment, especially for those who are in Raga platform. If you say no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling and intoxication, Prabhupada said, when I came to Boston Harbor, I was thinking how these people will even take to this process. And the moment I say no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, they'll ask me to go back home. How am I going to even preach here? So then he prayed to the Lord, please make the power of my words suitable for their understanding. So humbly he was praying. So a devotee, of course, will take the humble path, but it is the duty of the rest of the population to serve the devotee, because he is the first class person. In fact, such a person, it is described, we can never really serve him properly. We can never really serve him. .22.47. I always search for this word Vinodapatram because that means a joker. So I think I did a small TikTok video on this verse. Yairidrishi bhagavato gatiratmavada ekantato nigamibhih pratipaditana tushyantvadabhrakarunah svakritena nityam ko nama tat pratikaroti vinodapatram. Prithu Maharaj continued, how can such persons who have rendered unlimited service by explaining the path of self-realization in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and whose explanations are given for our enlightenment with complete conviction and Vedic evidence, be repaid except by folded palms containing water for their satisfaction? Such great personalities can be satisfied only by their own activities, which are distributed amongst human society out of their unlimited mercy. So, and in the below here, the word Vinodapatram can be divided into two words, Vina and Udapatram, which means, as it is explained in this verse, Vina means without, Udapatram means offering of water in cupped hands. So what can we offer to a person who is explaining this whole self-realization path other than with just simple water? What else can we do actually? He cannot be really repaid. We just have to have gratitude and we have to do everything in order to serve him. And another explanation is, so the Vinodapatram can be divided into two words, Vina and Udapatram, or can be understood as one word, Vinodapatram, which means joker. Vinoda means enjoyment. Patram means a person who brings enjoyment, brings laughter, like that. Like Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Vinod means one who is enjoying the path of devotion. Bhakti Vinod, one who is blissful in the path of devotion to Krishna. So that is bliss. So that happiness. So jokers, comedians, they make people laugh. They lighten the place around them. So Vinodapatram means a joker or a comedian. A joker's activities simply arouse laughter, and a person who tries to repay the spiritual master or teacher of the transcendental message of Krishna becomes a laughing stock, just like a joker, because it is not possible to repay such a debt. The best friend and benefactor of all people is one who awakens humanity to its original Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada was taking this humongous task right against the grain, against the current of Kali Yuga, boldly going against the whole worldview and the whole path of this material world. And he went on a freighter. That's complete insult to Prabhupada. In fact, the steamship company owner, Sumati Murarji, he was begging from her a place in the ship, a free passage on the ship. She gave him, after much requests, of so much requests by Prabhupada, finally she relented and gave. Actually, she should have just given a flight ticket for him to go there. That's what I feel. Whatever happened has happened. I mean, of course, the ship journey showed another huge pastime of Śrīla Prabhupada. So it's Krishna's, greatness that that Krishna came and massaged his heart, and all the 10 incarnations were protecting the ship, and those things were revealed because of the ship journey. But otherwise, the best way to serve a person like Prabhupada is to give him the flight ticket and make sure that he's taken care of. If she's the owner of the entire steamship company, she must be having loads of money, and she should have just bought a plane ticket and get him there and taken care of him. Okay, get him to that person wherever he was supposed to go, that Agarwal's house. So that's what I felt. I mean, that's me. But of course, whatever has happened, and those difficult things, that Prabhupada faced on the ship, that just even more amplified the greatness of Prabhupada. So we cannot really repay. So the first class person is one who preaches, one who is a devotee Brahmana, qualified Brahmana. So, but that is not the criterion for modern civilization. First class means one who has money, one who has prestige. These two people are treated as the person who are important people in this world. One who has prestige, one who has money. Vedic civilization concerned itself with how to achieve self-realization, and for this purpose one was recommended to have a small income to maintain body and soul together. The society was divided into Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, and the members of this society would limit their endeavors to meeting their minimum demands. Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa nartho yasceha karmabhi. 1.2.10 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation, since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's works. See? One should desire only a healthy life. The Brahmanas in particular would have no material desires. Because the Kshatriyas had to rule the people, it was necessary for them to have money and prestige. But the Vaishyas were satisfied with agricultural produce and milk from the cow, and if by chance there were excess, trade was allowed. The Shudras were also happy, for they would get food and shelter from the three higher classes. That's Shudra. In the demoniac civilization of the present day, however, there is no question of Brahmanas or Kshatriyas. There are only so-called workers and a flourishing mercantile class who have no goal in life. According to Vedic civilization, the ultimate perfection of life is to take sannyas. But at the present moment, people do not know why sannyas is accepted. Because of misunderstanding, they think that one accepts sannyas to escape social responsibilities. But one does not accept sannyas to escape from responsibility to society. In fact, he becomes more responsible towards the society. He guides the society, the entire society in fact. He leaves his small family and he accepts the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the entire world as a family. Because Kṛṣṇa is Aham Bija Pradah Pita. Kṛṣṇa is the seed-giving father of everyone, so that whole world is a family and he works for the benefit of the entire world. That's why it is said, Tattvavit mandalapati Śrīnim sada tuchhavat Bhutva dīna ganeshakau karunaya kaupina kanthashritau. The six Goswamis, they gave up their opulent positions in the government service and big positions like even Raghunath Das Goswami or Rupa and Sanatana Goswami and all of them. All exalted families, big positions, they gave up everything. And what did they do? They became mendicants. And they used to wear these opulent dresses and everything. But they just started wearing just the minimum, one cloth. That's the loin cloth they used to wear, and that's it. They minimized to such an extent. And what they spent their time on? Bhutva dīna ganeshakau karunaya. They said, if one has a family and one has work and all this, how much time can he set aside for the benefit of the society? He can't even set aside for the benefit of himself. So many devotees who are watching this right now, they're working so hard and they don't even have proper time to read Prabhupada's books. The moment they start reading, feeling sleepy. Chanting 16 rounds is itself a big achievement. That kind of work is going on. We can't even, take care of our own spiritual life. What to speak of others' spiritual life? It is becoming Ugra Karma. This Kali Yuga, everybody is forced to do Ugra Karma. Horrible work. So much work for little pay. And no satisfaction. So, for giving up, to give up all kinds of distractions so that one can properly serve, responsibly serve the entire world, people used to accept sannyas. And sannyas is for that, to spread, to broadcast widely the message of the absolute truth. That is the real meaning of sannyas. So, because of misunderstanding, they think that one accepts sannyas to escape social responsibilities. But one does not accept sannyas to escape the responsibility of society. Generally, one accepts sannyas at the fourth stage of life. One begins as a brahmachari, then becomes a grihastha, a vanaprastha, and finally a sannyasi to take advantage of the duration of one's life by engaging oneself fully in self-realization. First of all, even the idea that they think that, oh, they are escaping from social responsibility. They think, first of all, that to remain in society and try to solve all these problems in material ways is the aim of human life. And anybody who tries to come out of that, oh, he's an escapist, he's doing nothing for the society, he's just escaping. They don't know actually where the problem is. The problem is because we are attached to this society. As I said, to solve one problem, they create a solution which creates 10 more problems, and to solve that problem, they create a solution which create hundreds of problems. To solve those 100 problems, they create solutions that cause thousands of problems, and then millions of problems, and then billions and trillions and gazillions of problems. And this is how the chain of karma just keeps us going in this material world. One problem after another, one problem after another. It never just stops. So the only way we can actually come out of this problem is not to increase the problem more and more, but stop it altogether. Wake up. Uttishtata, jagrata, prapta varan nibodhata, shurasya dhara vishito duratyaya, durgam pathastad kavayo vadanti. So uttishtata, jagrata means wake up, get up. Prapta varan nibodhata. Oh, we have gotten this big boon of human form of life. Why do you want to waste it? And that is the Vedic injunction. Vanaprastha and finally a sannyasi to take advantage of the duration of one's life by engaging oneself fully in self-realization. Sannyas does not mean begging from door to door to accumulate money for sense gratification. However, because in Kali Yuga people are more or less prone to sense gratification, immature sannyas is not recommended. That's why sannyasam is not recommended in Kali Yuga. One of the 5 things that are not recommended in Kali Yuga is sannyas. Ashvamedham gavalambham sannyasam palapaitrikam devarena sutotpattim kalopancha vivarjayet. So these 5 things should be avoided in Kali Yuga. Ashvamedha yajna, horse sacrifice yajna. Gomedha yajna, cow sacrifice yajna, because actually they are not sacrificed, they are given rejuvenated bodies then and there. People can see the new bodies and they are given human bodies, but those powerful brahmanas are not available in Kali Yuga. So Ashvamedha and Gomedha sacrifice are out of the question. Then sannyasam, palapaitrikam, that means offering of meat to the forefathers. This was done in a special way, of the details of which I am not very sure of, but that is also not allowed in Kali Yuga. And then finally, Devarena Sutotpatim. So, just like Vyasadev did, Devarena Sutotpatim means when a man cannot beget children in his wife, then the brother of that man will beget children in his brother's wife. So that was allowed, just like the Pandavas and Kauravas. How did Pandu, Dhritarashtra and Vidura were born? Their father, Vichitravirya, actually died out of tuberculosis. He died at a young age, and his 2 queens were without issue, without any son. They were not pregnant yet. So Satyavati, the mother of Vichitravirya, she asked her son Vedavyas to come and elder brother of Vichitravirya, to beget children in the Ambika Ambalika. So like that, Pandu and Dhritarashtra were born, and then of course the maid servant also was there, and then Vidura was born out of that. So in this way, Devarena Sutotpatim was allowed before Kali Yuga, but now it will turn into illicit sex, and then the whole thing will change, So in Kali Yuga, that is also not allowed. So in this way, 5 things are not allowed, and sannyas is one of them. So, but that is meant for the immature. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself accepted sannyas and showed that this is how sannyas should actually be followed. And Prabhupada showed, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur showed. So for preaching, sannyas is allowed. And of course, one must keep to that vow. Sannyas vow is not easy, but one has to become advanced enough to accept that. So, sannyas doesn't mean just begging from door to door and accumulate money for sense gratification. In India, many people have put on this saffron colored cloth and then just do that. They just beg outside the temple doors or something, And that's it, that's all they do. And sometimes even smoke, BD and ganja and all this. Who will have any respect for such so-called sadhus? And they will have markat vairagya. Like monkey also looks very renounced. Just like sadhus, they used to go to the forest. So monkey also in the forest. Sadhus used to be digambar, fully naked. They're not. They're not. What is that? Avadhut. They're completely devoid of all material desires. They don't care about covering their bodies. They're just supposed to be in transcendental bliss, like Sukadeva Goswami. But so monkey also looks like that in the forest, naked. Eating only fruits. Not cooking, not having a big feast. So sadhu also is supposed to have only the wild fruits. So a monkey also looks superficially like sadhu. Like full sadhu, digambar, forest dwelling, and fruits. But then he has 20 she monkeys around him. In every day he is having sex few dozens of times. This is his vairagya. So this is called markat vairagya, renunciation of a monkey renunciation. So these kind of things are happening, and big babas, they're going to jail in India. Big swamis, babas going to jail for some illicit sexual affair. So that's why this is exactly the reason why sannyas is prohibited in Kali Yuga, because people will be like this. But if one takes it seriously, yes, it is to be followed. It can be followed, and that's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed by example. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur showed, and Prabhupada also showed by example. Immature sannyas is not recommended, as Prabhupada said here. Śrīla Rupa Goswami writes in his Nectar of Instruction, Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha laulyamcha shadbir bhakti vinashyati. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. 1. Eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. 2. Over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. 3. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4. Practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. Or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5. Associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6. Being greedy for mundane achievements. A sannyasi should have an institution meant to preach Krishna consciousness. He need not accumulate money for himself. We recommend that as soon as money accumulates in our Krishna consciousness movement, 50% of it should be invested in printing books and 50% for expenditures, especially in establishing centers all over the world and organizing festivals and all these things. The managers of the Krishna consciousness movement should be extremely cautious in regard to this point. Otherwise, money will be the cause of lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, material attachment, material poverty, and unnecessary hard work, as mentioned in today's this verse 7.13.34. When I was alone in Vrindavan, Śrīla Prabhupada is saying this. When I was alone in Vrindavan, I never attempted to construct mathas or temples. Rather, I was fully satisfied with the small amount of money I could gather by selling back to Godhead, and thus I would provide for myself and also print the literature. When I went to foreign countries, I lived according to the same principle, but when Europeans and Americans began to give money profusely, I started temples and deity worship. The same principle should still be followed. Whatever money is collected should be spent for Krishna and not a farthing for sense gratification. This is the Bhagavat principle. So these are the things. So by devotional service we can cross over these things. So I'd like to end the session here and we will go through the questions if you have any. I think there are some questions. Let's look at the questions. Oh, we have quite many questions. Okay. First question by Bhaktin Puja. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my question is, what is best, to be grihastha or to be a sannyasi or brahmachari when we preach? Anything, anybody can preach. It's not that only grihastha can preach or sannyasi can preach or brahmachari. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what is it? Jare dekha tare kaha Krishna upadesh. Amar agya guru haya taro edesh. So preacher means not just one who gives class only. Preaching means everything. To guide the person into Krishna consciousness, that is preaching. So distribute book, and after distributing book, once he has read, then okay, give more facility. Okay, invite him, give prasadam, and teach him how to chant. Teach him all these things involved. This is all preaching. And of course, when he takes up devotional service, there are anarthas that will come. So we have to counsel him and all, correct him when he's wrong, and encourage him when he's right, and slowly fan that spark and make it into a fire. So that is preaching. So the whole thing is preaching. So anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. Grihastha or sannyasi or brahmachari. But it is just that brahmachari and sannyasi, this is the only thing that they do. Whereas grihasthas have also, they have to maintain their family, so some time is spent there. So that way, that is the only difference. Otherwise, everyone can preach. There's no restriction. Narottam Das Thakur also said, Grihe thako, vane thako, sada hari bole dako. Whether in the house or in the forest, just always chant the holy name of Krishna and preach Krishna consciousness. Then even Nityananda Prabhu, he had wife, he also preached, like that. Then continuing with the question again. So when we preach, some people say Grihastha is best. By doing our Grihastha work like preparing food for our children or husband and in-laws, those say by doing this we are serving God indirectly. No, this is wrong. So that's not called serving. You can serve your relatives, your husband, your children, everything, prasadam. Then it is called serving God. You first offer that food to Krishna and then distribute the prasadam to the family members and to the neighbors and everybody. That is Grihastha life. In fact, Grihastha means he has to first of all cook, offer to Krishna, and make sure if there are anybody on this street around him, who is hungry, if they are, then distribute the prasadam to them. After everybody has eaten, then he has to eat. That is the actual business of Grihastha. So distribute prasadam to the neighbors, to everybody, anybody who is there. So that is proper service. Just serving the food and husband just normal food, that is not service. And there is hardly any. What is the preaching there? By cooking for husband, by cooking for children and sending them to school, what is preaching there? There's nothing there. So real thing is that we have to distribute Krishna. Preaching means what? Distribute the knowledge of Krishna consciousness and guide them in the process. So that is called preaching. So Grihasthas also can preach, but they have to do it under the guidance of the spiritual master. And preaching does not mean just preparing food for children and husband. No. Preparing food and offering Krishna, give prasadam. Then at least you are preaching to your children and husband. Otherwise, there is no preaching there. And in-laws or whatever it is. We are so busy in our family work, we don't have enough time for chanting. So, mostly women say like that. My humble request to you, please clarify the truth. So, we have to chant. Everybody in the house, they have to chant. And they have to offer the food to Krishna, read Prabhupada's books, and distribute prasadam to family members and outside everybody. That is preaching. And not only prasadam, knowledge. Knowledge has to be distributed. Take some books and give the books. Take some Prabhupada's books, keep some Prabhupada's books always with you. And, distribute. When you're, if you can sell them. You buy and then you sell them at the same price. You can do that. Otherwise, you want to gift somebody, you can gift somebody. If somebody is celebrating their birthday or something, you can gift them something like that. So gift them Krishna consciousness. That is a matchless gift. Okay, so that is how to preach. First of all, take guidance. Before even preaching, first let us learn what is Krishna consciousness. then we will talk about preaching. Because otherwise we're not even understanding what actually is preaching. We are thinking food, cooking is preaching. Cooking and giving, just eating nicely, that is free. That's not preaching. So we have to first of all understand what is Krishna consciousness, and then yes, we have to spread it. So first of all, Janma sarthak kore karo paropakar. At least we should understand the importance of Krishna consciousness and what is actually Krishna consciousness. So then we will know what is preaching. So preaching is a little bit advanced. So first one must, of course, even if we are not advanced, if we just distribute Prabhupada's books, that will still be. So, but if we are not convinced, we will not be even enthused to sell a book of Prabhupada. If we are ourselves not convinced about Prabhupada's books. That's why conviction is necessary. So we have to read, and we have to, this is what happens when you actually read Prabhupada's books. When you read, wow, this is so nice. Everything is answered here. Wow, the whole world is suffering just because they don't have this. By hook or by crook, these books have to go out and land in people's hands and in their laps, and they have to read these books. There has to be a intense passion to distribute the books of Prabhupada, because one feels like that. Because these books are so nice, they have to be spread. The people have to come and read them. How can we just sit? Keep all these books here without without reaching the masses. So that just like I'll show you this verse, Prahlad Maharaj. He's not interested in just being delivered alone. He wants to just take everybody else with him. He knows this is the cause of the problem. So you see this verse. Prayena deva munaya svavimukti kama maunam charanti vijanena parartha nishtha naitan vihaya kripanan vimumuksha eko nanyam tvadasya sharanam brahmato anupashye. My dear Lord Narasimhadev, I see that there are many saintly persons indeed, but they are interested only in their own deliverance. Not caring for the big cities and towns, they go to the Himalayas or the forest to meditate with vows of silence, Maunavrata. They are not interested in delivering others. As for me, however, I do not wish to be liberated alone, leaving aside all these poor fools and rascals. I know that without Krishna consciousness, without taking shelter of your lotus feet, one cannot be happy. Therefore, I wish to bring them back to shelter at your lotus feet. So this is the desire of a devotee. That he knows their problem and he wants to solve their problem. Even though they may not be ready to accept it, he wants to go all out to try and meet people and distribute these books. The books is one thing. Then when they come, they have to be trained. That is also there. That's why Prabhupada said, boil the milk. Now we have so many devotees, we have to train them. They have to be proper character. Because, reading books is one thing. When they come, there has to be a system. That's why Prabhupada set up temples, authority, and then how discipline. All that reading books will get them to the point of, yes, Karishye Vachanam Tava. Let me. Actually, it just induces a slight faith in the movement. And then there is Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha has to be there. And then there is Bhajana Kriya, initiation, engagement in devotional service, Anartha Nivritti Syat. That is a big chunk of our whole advancement phase, big phase of our whole advancement in devotional life, because a lot of anarthas have to be, progressively removed from our heart. That will take time according to our surrender. And then there is nishtha, then there is like fixed up devotional service, and then there is ruchi, then there is asakti. Ruchi means taste, then asakti means spontaneous attraction for Krishna, and then bhava, and then prema. So a person should be, advancing in this respect. So that whole effort is preaching, to bring that person to Krishna. So that is preaching. Next question, Bhakta Virendra. Are Vaishnavas monotheists since they worship only one supreme Godhead, Krishna, and his incarnations? So, of course, God is only one. So those who think that there are many gods, that is their theory. So fact is always one. When we use the word monotheist, it is like we are one of the many kinds of philosophies. One is what is that? Pantheism. One is monotheism. One is But actually, it is not just one of the many schools of thought, it is the fact. It is the fact. And everything else is just their own imagination. So we are factual, scientific people, whereas others are in their own imagination. They may have their own names, whether they call it pantheism, monotheism. They just equalize. They think, oh, we are also like them. We are just another school of thought. They are another school of thought. They are another school of thought, like this. But no, we are following the fact, and they are following some made-up concoction. There's no such thing as pantheism. There's no such thing as so many kind of theology and theosophy and all these things they have. It's all these different conceptions are there for people who are not clear about the fact. They speculate in various ways. But when we know the fact, Ishvara Parama Kṛṣṇa Sachidananda Vigraha, that's it. There's no doubt anymore. We are factual. We are concerned with facts. We are not concerned with this school or that school or what. They may give us a certain name, but we don't accept that name. We have our own name. That this is Vaishnava. That's why Prabhupada says International Society for Kṛṣṇa Consciousness. You not even say God consciousness or monotheistic society. Nothing. It's just Kṛṣṇa consciousness. If you like it, you like it. Otherwise, you get lost. He used no compromise. Absolutely. So as Prabhupada said, instead of accommodating to their understanding and using their terms that they use to refer to us, we have to give them our understanding, because our understanding is based on Krishna and Guru, and their understanding is on their own imperfect sense perception. So we have to inculcate our words into their minds rather than accepting their words. That's just my 2 cents worth. Next question by Sharanam Ramprasad. Hare Krishna Prabhu, does the 3 modes of material nature affects the devotee? It does. As long as we are not in the second class, at least in the second class platform. If you are in the third class platform, it does. So there is devotional service in the 3 modes. Let's explain. For a pure devotee, yes, it doesn't. But until we are pure, it does. 3.29.8 Abhisandhaya yo himsam dambham matsaryameva va samrambhi bhinna drigbhavam mayi kuryat satamasah. Devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent and angry, and who is a separatist is considered to be in the mode of darkness. So when a person comes into devotional life, he will have, we all have all these things. So in the beginning, when you come to devotional service, it's not that overnight we are like a sadhu, Prabhupada level. No. We are advancing. So training means, tolerance means, that's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said it takes gallons and hundreds of gallons of blood just to make one devotee. It's not easy at all. So he will have faults. But you just can't demean, you are a fault, you are a nonsense. Who is not faulty in this world, material world? If somebody has a fault, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, actually there is one beautiful comment by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. There was once this, let me see if I can find that. I think just yesterday somebody shared also. Basically, I'll just tell the story, I remember. So, one local newspaper editor, he came to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He said, Swamiji, you're a sadhu, no doubt, you're a great sadhu. But, some of your people, your devotees in your temple, I don't think they're up to the mark. They're not, they're far from perfect. They have so many mistakes and there's so many attitude problems and all these things. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, yes, but where else is a place where they can be cured? This is the place. This temple is a place where they can be cured. In the association of devotees, that those things can be cured, because yes, they may have, but they are taking to the process of curing it. They are taking the medicine. It will take time. Then they will become perfect. That is why it is said 9:30. Apiche suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhureva samantavya. So he has to be considered sadhu still, because he has taken to the right path, and eventually all his past habits will go, provided he takes to it seriously. But even if he doesn't take to it seriously, what else? What place is there other than the temple where he can be purified. So we can't blame, oh, this temple is, if suppose some devotee is coming here and he has some problem with his character, we just can't say, oh, you don't come to the temple. No. We still have to allow him and then train him slowly. Just like hippies. I mean, come on. When Prabhupada went to America, all were drug addicts, womanizers, naked, whatever, all nonsense they were doing. But Prabhupada, oh, you are all, rubbish fellows, what is this, naked, what is this, hippie, what is this, LSD or smoking, what is eating meat and what is illicit sex, what is this? Did Prabhupada say that? He just, how much he tolerated. If you just see the letters and conversations of Prabhupada, you will just see how much he tolerated, how much nonsense he tolerated while training the devotees. They had all kinds of wild things, wild ideas, and he trained them. And that is training, that is preaching. We just can't, throw away a person if he has some fault. Of course, if he becomes overly against and becomes offensive, then that's a different thing. Then Kṛṣṇa will make an arrangement for him to leave the movement. But as far as possible, we must try, to save the person. So that is preaching. So, in the beginning, devotional service in the mode of ignorance, mode of darkness, tāmasah. Then we have next 3.29.9. Vishayanabhisandhaya yasha aishwaryameva va archadavarchayed yomam pritagbhavacha rajasah. The worship of the deities in the temple by a separatist with a motive for material enjoyment, fame and opulence is devotion in the mode of passion. So this is in the Rajogun. Still it is a separatist because Pritagbhava means separatist. That means his desire is not exactly Krishna's desire or the Guru's desire. He is trying to, but he has his own agendas also. So that is Pritagbhava. So the word separatist must be understood carefully. The Sanskrit words in this connection are Bhinnadrig and Pritagbhava. A separatist is one who sees his interest as separate from that of the Supreme Lord. So he wants some fame and opulence. So these are material enjoyment. So this is devotion in the mode of passion. Karma nirharam uddishya parasmin va tadarpanam yajed yashtavyamiti va prithakbhavasa sattvikaha. Now, this is devotional service in the mode of goodness. This is also not pure, but it is a little bit better than others. When a devotee worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offers the results of his activities in order to free himself from the inebriaties of fruitive activities, his devotion is in the mode of goodness. So he wants to get mukti, he wants to get moksha. Again, that is also, he wants something. Whether he wants fame, he's angry, he just doesn't know how to behave, or he wants liberation. As long as we want something, that is prithak bhava, separatist mentality. Real devotional service means unalloyed devotional service, just for the satisfaction of Krishna. Anya bhilashita shunyam jnana karma anavritam. Jnana karmadi anavritam. Anukulyena Krishna anushīlanam bhaktiruttama. And that is real devotional service when every other desire is zero. Next verse. Madguna shruti matrena mayi sarva guhashaye mano gatir avichinna yatha gangam bhasombudhau lakshanam bhakti yogasya nirgunasya hyudahritam ahaitukya vyavahita ya bhakti purushottame. This is pure devotional service. The manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is residing in everyone's heart. That means Asakti platform. At once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and quality. This is the Asakti platform. That means they have to pass through Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, then Asakti. When one has that, then he has come to the platform of pure devotional service. Even now, we are not in the platform of pure devotional service until we have come to this. Until and unless we have come to this stage, we are not in pure devotional service. We are in the modes. What is that? Mam chayo vyabhicharena. Okay, just read the next, the rest of the translation and then we'll go there. Just as the water of the Ganges flows naturally down towards the ocean, such devotional ecstasy, uninterrupted by any material condition, flows towards the Supreme Lord. That is pure devotional service. So, that is achieved when one performs Vaidhi Bhakti, that means devotional service under the guidance of a spiritual master, following the rules and regulations without any break. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. And then when one comes to the level of Brahman, then Brahma bhutah prasannatma na shochati nyakangshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So this is what is pure devotional service. Next question by Bhakta Virendra. Is agrarian civilization, that of having land for producing food and cows for milk, is much better than post-industrial revolution having technological advancement? Agrarian, what is that? Agrarian, I think maybe. Yeah, basically agriculture. So, that is the system given by the Lord. So, nothing can be better than what the Lord gave us, right? So, the Lord gave us a very simple solution for all economic problems. Annad bhavanti bhutani, parjanyad annasambhava, yajnad bhavati parjanyo, yajna karma samudbhavaha. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi, brahmakshara samudbhavam, tasmad sarvagatam brahma, nityam yajne pratishthitam. So, this is our procedure of economics. Religion, dharma, artha. Artha is necessary for maintenance of material body, which is kama. But kama is an indriya priti. Labho jivita yavata. So, artha and kama are necessary for just minimum maintenance. That's it. That's all the economics of Vedic economics are just enough for our sustenance. Rest all for the spiritual opulence of serving Kṛṣṇa. You may say that then what is the use of so much gold that are there in the world and all this so many nice things. All that is yes for the Lord. There has to be opulent temples and people have to be given such grand festivals must be organized and people have to be, there has to be so much grand arrangement for Kṛṣṇa consciousness. For example, now say a Hollywood movie costs hundreds of millions of dollars. Like if you have like those expensive CGI, computer graphics, so you'll have to spend thousands of millions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars, whatever it is. So millions and millions of dollars are spent for that, but that money can be used to make movies like Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Bhagavatam, Vishnu Puran. These scriptures can be done. So actually they have to be used for that, but they're using it for some fantasy nonsense Jurassic Park story, for Spider-Man, for Ant-Man. These things are being used, money for these things. What is that? Complete misuse. So all that opulence is supposed to be used for we are not against computer graphics. No, not at all. But we are against the misuse of it. So we can use all that to tell the story of the Lord. That is what it should be done. So we don't deny any talent or any opulence, but it has to be employed in the service of the Lord. And we should just take bare minimum for ourselves, just for our maintenance. That's it. So that is always the best civilization. And agriculture and cow protection, that is what Kṛṣṇa has given. So that is always the best. Whatever Kṛṣṇa gives is the best. But when it is misrepresented, misused, abused, or completely driven out of society, then everything becomes topsy-turvy. Next question. 429 2b. Everything happening within time, which consists of past, present, and future, is merely a dream. That is a secret understanding in all Vedic literature. Yeah, so it's basically not a question. It's saying that everything in the material world is a dream. So that is 429 2b. Okay, let's go there. Srimad Bhagavatam. 429 2b. Adrishtam drishtavannang kshed bhutam swapnavadanyatha bhutam bhavad bhavishyatcha suptam sarvarahoraha. Everything happening within time, which consists of past, present, and future, is merely a dream. That is a secret understanding in all Vedic literature. Bhakta Virendra. Shankaracharya says Jagat Satya Maya Mithya. He says Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. That's what he actually says. Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. So as per Shankaracharya, Maya is illusion, but Vaishnavas consider Maya as Krishna's material energy. So do Vaishnavas and Shankaracharya refer to the same Maya? They do. So they say Mithya. Mithya means false. So we don't say false, we say it is true but temporary. It is true but temporary. That's what Vaishnavas say. Next question. If a person while living never uttered Lord Hari's name and never glorified nor bow upon him, that person's soul after death is under the jurisdiction of Yamaraj. But I still don't understand, why do the fallen souls still wander on earth among the material family but not at hell, as mentioned in the Garuda Puran? No, you should understand that they are living now, so they are not bowing down. After this life, they will go to hell. So while they are in this world, they are in this world, and when they don't live according to Krishna's directions, after this life they will go to hell. And also, while even in this life, they are still facing hellish conditions in the shape of various anxieties and pains and like that. But so it is said that when one does not glorify or utter Krishna's name, then he goes to hell. So now the chance is given to utter the holy name. That's the whole human form. So if he is not uttering now, then later maybe he can utter if he comes in contact with devotees. So the opportunity is there for him to utter. So a grace period is given, this human form of life, maybe 80 years, maybe 90 years, whatever it may be. But if he doesn't utter, if he doesn't become devotee, then after this life, then they go to hell. So this is the chance for them to utter. So if they misuse, then they go to hell. If you want to go and see what is happening in hell, then you will be convinced. But otherwise, they actually go to hell. Because we haven't gone, of course we have been there but we forgot. Because we are not there, we don't see the hellish planets. So, and we don't know which living entity is going where after death. We don't know, right? But we know from the Shastric reference, but if they do not become Krishna's devotees, then they will go to hell. So that is explained there. So next question by Bhakta Virendra. Why devotee is fearless in death, whereas a materialist is fearful of his death? So fear comes because it's fear of the unknown. They don't know what is happening, and they don't know what is going to happen after death. They're not sure, and they do not know actually where they're going. They think everything is finished. With ignorance, there will be fear. Just like there may be a rope, but one becomes fearful because he thinks it is a snake. So when we accept one thing for another, then it becomes fearful. Because factually, we actually don't die. So we always want to live eternally. That's why we want to prolong our life, because we think this is life, this body is life. And when this body is finished, that is finished, the life is finished. So because we have this wrong conception, because we have taken the body to be our self, just like if we have taken this dead body to be our living self. Similarly, just like if we take a dead rope to be a living snake, we'll become fearful. So similarly, because we have taken this dead body to be our real self, we think that we are finished at the time of death, and that's what causes the pain. That's what causes the fear, and all that we have amassed in this life is gone at the time of death. So our plans are being frustrated. So that's why we become fearful, that because we always hope that our plans will never get frustrated, but it will. That's why it is said. Okay, there's one nice shloka that's been quoted, but we'll go to this first. What I was going to show? I forgot myself what I was going to show. So where were we actually? One second. I interrupted my flow of thought. What I was saying is okay. Let's go to this verse, because this verse is shown here in the comments. 11:233. Shri Kaviruvacha. Manye kutaschid bhayamachyutasya padambujopasanamatra nityam udvigna buddhe rasadatma bhavad vishvatmana yatra nivartate bhi. Shri Kavi said, I consider that one whose intelligence is constantly disturbed by his falsely identifying himself with the temporary material world can achieve real freedom from fear only by worshipping the lotus feet of the infallible Supreme Lord. In such devotional service, all fear ceases entirely. So in devotional service, all fear becomes nullified. And that's exactly, just 4 verses after this is that bhayam dvitya bhiniveshata syat. So why fear actually happens. So going back to the question, what was the question? Yeah, so why is a devotee fearless in death, but a materialist fearful of his death? So he's going to think that everything is going to be finished and death is the end all of everything. And that's when fear actually starts. So the fear of the unknown. So if we are in knowledge, that's why, then धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तर प्राप्ते धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. A sober person, one who is intoxicated with materialistic life of raga, bhaya and krodha, he cannot understand these things, especially with raga. A sober person, he knows. So the example is given like the cat carrying the mouse, and the mouse becomes very fearful, because when the cat carries the mouse with its teeth, that's it, it's finished, that's the end. But the kitten is also carried by the cat by its teeth, because they don't have hands like us. So their love is expressed by carrying them by their teeth, but the kitten is not afraid of those teeth, because that is a love. So death is like that for the devotee, because none of his endeavors are frustrated, and he just carries forward whatever he is doing in this life. He will carry the same thing, and he will continue doing what from where he has left off. So that's why devotee is fearless. He has taken shelter of Kṛṣṇa. Next, is chocolate an intoxicant? Śrīla Prabhupāda said not to eat chocolates to his followers. So chocolate has caffeine, and even white chocolate. Chocolate has caffeine and theobromine. These two are intoxicants. Tea is actually tea has theobromine, which is an intoxicant. Although tea does not have caffeine, if I'm not wrong. So chocolate, yeah. So even white chocolate, there is tiny traces of caffeine still there. So we can live without chocolate, right? So yeah. So chocolate is an intoxicant, so we have to keep away from that. Krishna Smaranam Prabhu. Why does Lord Shiva uses intoxication, and why does his followers continue to use intoxication? First of all, Lord Shiva does not take intoxication. he is called Nilkantha because he took the ocean of poison to save the rest of the world. Otherwise, the poison would have just, destroyed the whole world. When the ocean of milk was being churned, poison came. And that poison was so extensive that he gulped the whole ocean of poison and kept it in his throat. And some poison spilt, and those poison are found in snakes and scorpions and like that, spiders. So that's what he did. But his followers think that, he had some ganja, let's also have some ganja. Rubbish. So that's how they do it. But Lord Shiva never even recommended it. Never took and never recommended it. But his followers, that's why they just create their own ways of worship, not recommended in the Shastras. So that's why it is all some bogus stuff. Next question by Bhakta Virendra. A devotee has to perform activities or karma to earn money? I mean, if he is not in the mutt, if he is not in the temple, he may have to find his own income. And if he is in the temple, then he has to work fully for the temple's interest, and his maintenance will be taken care of by the temple. Basically, prasadam and clothes and of course place to sleep, and that's it. So all that is very minimum, not extravagance at all, and that's how he has to live, and then he has to serve the Lord. And if he is not, if he has a family, then yes, he has to, otherwise what is the other way? Unless one has a business or something like that. In today's day and age, money is to maintain a family we need money, right? So like that. So if we can find a way where we can earn money without much stress on our lifestyle, that is better. So one has to try for that as much as possible. Next question, and I think some are actually trying to do something on the internet, maybe designing some websites or designing some graphics or something like that, or it may be some teaching some English or something like that, course like that. People are trying like that. Some devotees I have seen. So we can explore other things. Mainly, one has to minimize as much as possible, and it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but one has to try towards that end. Next question by Krishna Smaranam Prabhu. What is the difference between giving one life in the service of the Lord and committing suicide? Well, it's like worlds apart. It's like light and darkness. So giving one's life in the service of the Lord means engaging with mana. What is that? With mind, body and words. One has to serve the Lord. So giving his life to the Lord means his words, thought, his words, mind and actions, everything should be in the service of the Lord. That is giving life for the Lord. But suicide means, that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Sanatana Goswami wanted to commit suicide because he was having all these sores on his body, and said, what is the use of my body? Not only it is a painful condition, but more than that, I am offending devotees because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is embracing me every time. I want to commit suicide. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu condemned him. Who are you to commit suicide, first of all? That body is mine. Your body, that is not your body, that is mine, my property. So how can you damage it without my consent? It is meant for my use, and I have many plans that I want you to fulfill. So your body is my property, that has to be used for my service. So that is surrender. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpan. Atma samarpan means now my soul, my mind, my body, everything is for the service of the Guru. That is surrender. And of course, Guru has to be a pure devotee of Kṛṣṇa. So that is proper surrender. So suicide means just rejecting the gift given by God. Yes, maybe can't enjoy. Actually, it comes out of frustration. Instead of offering it to the Lord for the pleasure of the Lord, you just destroy it. Krishna gave us a gift. and we are destroying it. That means no regard for Krishna at all. Just because it did not suit me. Just like sometimes, the father buys a toy for the child. When the child sees the toy, he is not happy with the toy. He just breaks it. What is it? That is no gratitude even. So it is complete. It is done out of complete foolishness. Suicide. So this body is not meant for our sense gratification. So people, they try for sense gratification, and when that gets frustrated, they commit suicide. So they think, if it cannot give me sense gratification, I better not have this body. This is all foolishness. Both are foolishness. Raga and Dvesha, both are foolishness. Therefore, we must go above that. Sense gratification should not be the index of our life. Krishna's satisfaction is the index of our life. And how much we are working for his satisfaction, that is the measure of our success of life. No matter what the world says, no matter what the world feels, Guru and Krishna must be pleased. That's it. Next question by Bhaktin Puja. Some butcher man and meat eater says by killing animal and eating meat, they are making free to the animals from this life, so they achieve human life in the next birth. What is the true fact, Prabhuji? So first of all, can they prove that such a person, such an animal has taken human birth in the next life? One thing is sure, that the one who is eating that animal, he is going to become animal in the next life. That is sure. But there is no surety that that person will become human in the next life. And who are they to decide? They have created the law that I will kill who created the law? Who gave them the body? They did not give. So how can they take? So these are some rubbish talk. The fact is, everybody has to live. Krishna has given them all the body. And whatever is tena tyaktena bhunjitha, we have to eat whatever is our quota given to us. And for humans, quota is vegetarian food. And that too, offer it to Krishna and then eat. Then it is pure food. Other than that, even vegetarian or non-vegetarian, both are sinful. Both are sinful. Next, question by Krishna Smarana Prabhu. Can a Grihastha go back to Godhead in this age since sannyas is not encouraged? Anybody can go back to Godhead provided he is 100% Krishna conscious. That's the main thing. 100% Krishna consciousness. Question by Bhakta Virendra. How can one know that his execution of devotional service towards the Supreme is pure, by which he is progressing in Krishna consciousness? So, as long as he executes the instructions of the spiritual master in the association of devotees, he should know that he is progressing. And some of the things that come in the matter of our progress, just like, when we are going on the road, suppose from Mumbai to Kolkata, Mumbai to Kolkata. Now, in the middle, you will pass through this station. Say a train. Suppose we are taking a train, and we will pass through this station. So, if we are passing through that stations, then we know we are progressing. So, there are some milestones. Okay, I have crossed this milestone. Then yes, I am on the right track. But suddenly, if we are in a station where it should not be in the path between Mumbai and Kolkata, that means somewhere we have gone off track. Maybe we have taken a wrong train or something like that. So, on the path, there are these milestones. So, similarly, what is this verse? This is not the verse. Okay, 1 second. 11 to 42. This is the verse. So, similarly, there are things which will be on the track, and if we are passing through them, yes, we should know that we are on the right track. So 11 to 42. Bhakti pareshanubhavo viraktir anyatra chaishatrika ekakalah prapadyamanasya yathashnatah syus tushti pushtik shudapayo nughasam. Devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. These three occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the same way, That pleasure, nourishment and relief from hunger come simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating. So, when a person is engaged in eating, you yourself know that your stomach is filling up, you are feeling energetic, you are feeling nourishment. So, your hunger is going down. So, you will automatically feel it. So, similarly, a person who is going through the process of devotional service, he will feel devotion. His devotion to Krishna consciousness, his enthusiasm for Krishna consciousness increases. His tendency to waste time decreases. Kshantir avyartha kalatam, his tolerance increases. His hope in this process increases. Kshantir avyartha kalatam, what is that? Manashunyata, Asha Bandha Samutkantha, Namagana Sadaruchi. So these are symptoms will go there. 23.18 and 19, I think. CC Madhyam 23.18 and 19. See, Kshantir Avyartha Kalatam Viraktir. I forgot that word. Viraktir means same. Bhakti Pareshanubhava Virakti. Here, Kshantir Avyartha Kalatam Viraktir Manashunyata Asha Bandha Samutkantha Namagane Sadaruchi Asaktistad Gunakhyane Pritistad Vasatistale Ityadayonubhavasyur Jata Bhavankure Jane. When the seed of ecstatic emotion for Krishna fructifies, the following 9 symptoms manifest in one's behavior. Forgiveness. He will easily forgive one who offends him. Of course, he will never forgive those who offend the Supreme Lord or another devotee, but oneself, yes, he will easily forgive. Concern that time should not be wasted. He is very careful not to waste time. Detachment. Detachment from family entanglements, from materialistic entanglements, attachments. Absence of false prestige. Hope. Hope in what? Hope in the Supreme Lord. That is explained in a very nice verse, a few verses after this, 10 verses after this actually. So hope in the process, hope in the Supreme Lord, that the hope in not himself. He knows that alone I have nothing of value, but I have complete hope in Guru and Krishna that they will save me and they will assure my spiritual advancement. Of course, that would mean that one has to put in one's best in one's devotional service, and then yes, the hope will come, the hope will be fruitful. Otherwise, just hoping and doing nothing, that's useless. And then eagerness. Eagerness for what? Enthusiasm to participate in devotional activities. Eagerness, eager to hear, eager to chant, eager to wake up for Mangalarati, eager to distribute books, eager to do different kinds of services. That is another symptom. A taste for chanting the holy name of the Lord. Attachment to descriptions of the transcendental qualities of the Lord. An affection for those places where the Lord resides. Temple or a holy place like Vrindavan. These are all called anubhava, subordinate signs of ecstatic emotion. They are visible in a person in whose heart the seed of love of God has begun to fructify. So these are some of the things we can see. Just like we are passing on the journey and we are passing through these stations, and we know, we are on the right track. If we are not seeing these things, if we are wasting time, we are not like really serious about chanting, we are not like really eager to hear or really eager to participate in devotional activities or do book distribution and all these things, and we don't have real taste for chanting, then we know we are not on the right track. Something we are doing that is wrong. So we have to introspect. What am I doing wrong? Am I eating prasadam? Am I following all the rules and regulations? Am I offending some Vaishnavas which is causing this thing? Am I offending the temple? All these things we have to introspect. Then we will know, okay. Or if I cannot, if I think I am doing everything right, because that's how we have been programmed in this material world. We always, when something goes wrong, he's at fault, he's at fault, he's at fault, he's at fault. Not me. First of all, we have to own up. Nobody's fault can harm me. Nobody's fault can harm my devotional progress. Apratihata. But if I commit an offense, yes, then there will be a temporary stoppage in my progress. So, what am I doing wrong? maybe others are doing wrong or right. First of all, let's introspect myself. What am I doing wrong? Maybe I am offending devotees. So ask devotees, Prabhu, do you think that I am offending you, or did I say anything wrong? Because I want to learn. Sometimes I may say something out of habit, but I don't know whether it actually is hurting somebody, or am I, this is actually another thing every devotee will go through, that in the subtly advertising oneself, it's good to always put out news of to encourage others, but if I want self glorification out of that, to encourage others, that is a different thing, but if I want to glorify myself by putting out that's a big problem, and devotees can detect that. Those who are actual devotees, they will be able to detect that that is some self promotion. So we are not saying that of course, that when we are broadcasting some news, for example, when we have Rath Yatra, we broadcast. We are not saying that, oh, look at us, we are the greatest organizers, we are the greatest devotees. No. But just by seeing the Rath Yatra and everything, everybody will be happy. So therefore, that's why Prabhupada had Back to Godhead magazine. He wanted to showcase the devotees' activities and devotees' writings. He wanted this, a platform where the devotional service of devotees should be broadcasted, but that should be there. At the same time, we should not, it should not get to our head that, oh, Prabhu, I sang this kirtan, how is it? Nice, right? I know. And actually, there's one video, it's so disgusting, that this kind of devotee, he sang, he's a good singer, but he went on his own YouTube channel and said, he just blew his own trumpet and he was just, glorifying his own singing and all that. That's not good. So all these things matter. So we are doing sometimes doing subtly something wrong, which we do not realize, or we expect others to also glorify us. So all these things will affect so every time we have to be very, very cautious. There are so many weeds. That's why that chapter, that 19th chapter of Madhya Lila, we have to read that part where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us how to be a good gardener of the creeper of devotional service. So we have to contemplate on all these things. Okay, next question. By Bhakta Virendra again. Is getting initiated from spiritual master more important than association of devotees? Devotees help us in getting spiritual master. See, everything is important. Not one thing is more important than the others, but if we just take initiation ceremonially and then don't associate with devotees, there's no fruit in that initiation. There's nothing there. So we have to take, initiation means what? Initiation means I am going to now follow this discipline. That means initiation. Just like when you enroll in the army, suppose, you can't say that, oh, now I am the chief, brigadier general or what, the chief of the army. No. Just a recruit, just like one of the army men who have to do push-ups, like 100 push-ups a day. That's going to be the start. And when you come to the platform of reaching the leader of the entire country's army, that's a different thing. Initiation doesn't mean one has become that, what is that, chief marshal or whatever it's called. I'm not good at these terms, but the chief of the army. No, you don't. Initiation means the beginning of discipline. And discipline happens where? Under the association of devotees. Otherwise, our mind, if our mind is our guru, there is no discipline there. The mind is always giving us excuses how to avoid the discipline. Discipline means there has to be a discipline master. There has to be a guru. That's why the temple authority is there. Shiksha Guru, temple commander, temple president, and all these things. Why? We are disciplined. So then, yes, everything. So initiation is important, and association of devotees is important. All this is important. By association of devotees, one will get inspired and then eventually come to the point of initiation. And by initiation, one actually begins his official devotional life and like really dedicate now. So that's initiation. So everything is important. Otherwise, why did Prabhupada give everything? He gave initiation, he gave books, he gave association of devotees, he gave temples, he gave festivals, he gave prasadam. Everything is important, because our entire life has to be centered around Krishna, and all these activities that are there are enabling us to use our senses, our mind, our body in the service of Krishna. So everything is important. Next question by Santosh Gupta. Sattvic food cooked versus raw, which has more consciousness for human being? Both are not good because both are not prasadam yet. So prasadam is actually the food for human being. We will see Bhagavad Gita 3.13. यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः संतो मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल विषयैः भुञ्जते ते त्वघं पापा ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्. See, pachanti means prepare food, and that actually means cooking. So there is cooking. So we're not into this raw. I mean, there are things that can be eaten raw, and then there are things that can be eaten only when cooked. You see, you can't eat a potato raw, you'll get some indigestion. You eat wheat raw, you'll get indigestion. But when it's cooked, yes, then it can be eaten. So here, the devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin, even if it is vegetarian or non-vegetarian or whatever. If it is not prasadam, even if it is vegetarian, it is still sinful. So of course, prasadam can only be in the vegetarian category. That's why he said, Patram pushpam phalam toyam Yo me bhaktya prayachati, 9.26 of Bhagavad Gita. Tadaham bhaktyupahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit or water, I will accept it. So we have to give Krishna in this categories. But, so we have to eat prasadam. Now next, Sunita D'Souza is asking question. I am a vegan. Could you explain this concept of having A2 milk, which people assume is better than A1 milk? As I believe a mother cow makes milk for her calf alone and not for anyone else's consumption, same as my mother. By consuming her milk, don't we deprive her child of its right? As we see her as a never-ending pumping machine. Even Ayurveda promotes medicine as a medicine, not as a food. Okay, this is a topic which I actually wanted to address in a dedicated video by itself. Now, the proper way of how a cow should be even taken care of, that is not found mostly nowadays. 99%, or I don't know how many percent, but it has been industrialized, and cows are treated the worst, and that is absolutely horrific to see the treatment in the cow farms or wherever they are. And then they are killed, they're meant for slaughter when they don't give milk. And the male bull, when he's born, he's just taken away from as tender meat. This is absolute. This is not at all cattle. Cow protection. That is some cattle business. So, but the way the Vedic civilization is supposed to be is Goraksha, and it is never meant for profit. It is never meant for profit in the first place. There is a mistake that people have. People think that maintenance of cow is for profit. No, it is not supposed to be for profit. If the cow is taken care of with love and not just, as you said, as a pumping machine, then by nature, by Krishna's arrangement, she gives more milk. Now, this is controversial to the vegans, but according to Vedic understanding, veganism itself is not correct. Because they think, okay, cow gives milk for her calf to be drunk, then we are still killing the plant that we are eating. I mean, there is still killing of the plants. So either way, there is always some killing. Jivo jivasya jivanam. One living entity cannot live without eating another living entity. So that is the law of this material world. In either way, we have to kill the plant. Of course, sometimes it's just plucking the fruit, it's not killing the tree. But sometimes it involves killing the plant. So it doesn't mean that, oh, one is better than the other. Oh, save the cow, but we can eat plants. No. As long as we don't eat prasadam, as it is said here, this verse 3.13 of Bhagavad Gita, unless we eat prasadam, it is not pure food, even if it is vegetarian or even if it is vegan. It is not pure food. We have to offer it to Kṛṣṇa. And because Kṛṣṇa said, offer me this category, yes. And Kṛṣṇa also, as we all know, ate butter, drank milk, ate yogurt, everything. All the sweets that are made from milk, that is also eaten. So we have to offer that to Kṛṣṇa. Now, because one is conditioned by this vegan thinking, he thinks that cow's milk is only meant for the calf. Yes, the calf has to drink. The way the present industries take care of the cow is not the correct manner. Next, there is the correct manner of taking care of the cows. In fact, that is stated in the Bhagavatam, if you see, in 1st Canto, 16th chapter, if I am not wrong, in other places also, that the cows were so happy that they were dripping milk on the pasture grounds, and the ground became wet with milk, and they produce more milk than is enough for the calf. Even if the calf drinks to its heart's content, still there is milk. Still it has, there is milk. Now, Sunita Mataji is saying plants have no central nervous system, although it has a consciousness. See, it is a soul. In the body of a plant, in the tree, it is a soul, and in the animal, it is a soul. All are souls. It has a nervous system, not the way we know it. Not the way we know it. They know. They have pain. They know pain. When they are cut, they know. It's not that they do not know. So this argument is not correct. And also now, continuing on what I am saying, milk, the cow, if taken care of properly, she will produce more milk than is enough for the calf, and that milk can be taken by humans, not to deprive the calf. This is again another instance of when a system is not properly in place, remove the whole thing. That is not the answer. We are not vegetarians or non-vegetarians. We are what Kṛṣṇa asks us to eat, and to him we have to offer nice milk preparations. That's what he showed. He showed that, and we have to offer that, and therefore we can eat the preparations offered to Kṛṣṇa. Even alone, just milk, that is also sinful. Anything that is not offered to Kṛṣṇa is sinful. That does not mean, okay, let me offer meat and eat meat. No, but Kṛṣṇa said, I don't want that. Kṛṣṇa said, I want this category. And he showed by his personal example how he drank milk also of the cow, and butter and yogurt and all these things. So we should not replace what is given by God with our own ideology. This vegan ideology is man-made thing. Now, next, coming to the next issue. Yes, Sunita Mataji is saying that is 1% of the population who treat the cows that way. True. Now, next, coming to the next point. Śrīla Prabhupāda said that the cows that are there going for slaughter, they are actually, why they are being slaughtered? One thing is, we should never slaughter the cows. Why are those cows having that kind of a life where they are slaughtered? Because they have been eaters of cow in their previous lives. This is another thing. The law of karma is also something we have to understand. We cannot take something in exclusion and isolate it from everything that is going on. Why actually things happen the way they happen? We have to understand that also. So the cow is suffering so badly because they have been cow killers in their previous lives. That's why Śrīla Prabhupāda explained this very nicely, that except for the sin of killing a cow, they were actually not supposed to. Usually cow, how it becomes a cow, how she becomes a cow? Rising, we have seen the other day. Okay, let's see the actual way one naturally becomes a cow. The soul, when he naturally comes to the cow's body. Okay, Canto 3, chapter 30, and in the last verse. You see this. This is what happens to a person who has misused the human form of life, and then he goes to hell. You see, therefore, a person who is very eager to maintain his family and kinsmen simply by black methods certainly goes to a darkest region of hell, which is known as Andhatamisra. Now, after going to hell, he is not finished. He is not just comes back to human form of life. No. So, what happens to him? Adhastan naralokasya yavatiryatanadayah kramashah samanukramya punar atravra vrajet chuchihim. Having gone through all the miserable hellish conditions and having passed in a regular order through the lowest forms of life prior to human birth, and having thus been purged of his sins, one is reborn again as a human being on this earth. So, after hellish punishment, he will go into like absolutely low forms like fish, and then he becomes trees, and then so many 2 million types of trees are there, and slowly he rises above. And then there are 3 animals, the souls in which will become human form in the next life. One is a cow, and he will become the soul in that will become a human in the next life in the mode of goodness. The lion, which in the next body will become a human in the mode of passion, and the monkeys, which in the next life become a human in the mode of ignorance. So this is the natural way a cow is taking birth actually. But these cows who are being slaughtered, they were cow killers before. That is the word, that is the meaning of the word mamsa. In Sanskrit, meat is called mamsa, and it's very, very scientific word. Because mamsa means, mam means me, and sah means he. And now I am killing him, so he has the right to kill me in my next life. I am accepting the same fate for myself in my next life by killing this animal. So every time they are eating meat, they are agreeing to these terms and conditions. Sometimes we just download a software and just click agree without even looking at what are the terms and conditions. Oftentimes we do that. That's what people are agreeing to. When they are eating meat, they are agreeing to that. Karma, law of karma. Whether they know it or not, it will happen. It will happen that way. So now, would that logic apply to murderer too? Can we assume that then that as he was murdered before in a past life, so he does the same in this life? Yeah. No. When he is murdered, so for example, when one kills someone, then he will be in the next life killed. That's why in the Vedic civilization, when a person murders someone, out of mercy for that soul, he is immediately executed, because life for a life. And then after that, next life, he starts free from this sin of murdering. Otherwise, he will have to pay. It is just this life or next life or life after that, he will have to pay for it. So karma is like that. So these cows have been born like that, and then they are taken to the slaughterhouse. We can't do anything to save them at this point. But if, although this is not the ethical way, ideally we have to have our own cows, our own farm, which we are trying to our best of our capacities. We have a farm in Malaysia which we just have 2 cows there. And in Australia, we have about almost 8 to 10 cows now. And even in India, we have. So, in our ISKM, of course, there are so many other goshalas in India which they maintain so many cows. But that's the proper way to maintain a cow. But this soul who is suffering so much because of his bad karma, because he has eaten beef before, and now he has become cow, and his meat is being offered as beef. Now, when the milk of that cow goes to Kṛṣṇa, that cow will benefit. Now, we are not saying that we are condoning, oh wow, this is condoning slaughter. No, we are not. But what other chance is there for that cow to be saved? Yes, we should rally for cow protection and inhuman treatment. Yes. At the same time, those cows which are already going to be killed, what other way is there for them to come out of their sinful karma? So if some of their milk is offered to Kṛṣṇa, next life they have a much better chance. They don't have to go through so many lifetimes of suffering again. So even that, just like all the fruits, all the vegetables that we offer, the plants which offer those vegetables, they are sitting somewhere in different parts of the world, and they are sometimes imported, sometimes it's local produce, whatever it is. Whichever plant has produced something and that is offered to Kṛṣṇa, that plant is getting the benefit. That part of her body, part of her effort is being offered to Kṛṣṇa, and that purifies. Just like when we offer our efforts, when our life, our activities, our words to Kṛṣṇa, we become purified. Those animals, those birds, those plants which offer, they also get purified. Like we put peacock feather on Kṛṣṇa's head. That peacock, from whose that feather has come and has landed on Kṛṣṇa's head, in the deity, in the temple we use that. So those peacocks are getting benefited because their feathers are being used by Kṛṣṇa. You understand this point? So that is the thing. When apavitraha pavitro va sarvavastham gatopi va yasmaret pundarikaksham sa bahya abhyantara suchihi. When anything is connected with Kṛṣṇa, that is purified. Apavitraha pavitro va sarva avastham gatopi va. So whatever is impure will become pure. Whether it was impure or pure, when it comes in connected with Kṛṣṇa, that becomes pure. And those plants which are offering its flowers, we offer so many garlands, we offer so many flowers to Kṛṣṇa. The plants who offer, they also benefit. So in this way, when only with Kṛṣṇa can they be saved. Whether it's animals or plants or even humans, they can be saved only when they are somehow or other connected with Kṛṣṇa. Now a person, poor man, he is on the street and he cannot eat. Why? Because of his past karma, he did something for which he is suffering like that. Lord always has enough supply to feed even thousands and millions of elephants. Why can't he provide for one small man who is in this world? And how much he can eat compared to an elephant? But why he doesn't have it? Because of his past karma. That doesn't mean we just let the person suffer his karma and then let him go to hell. No. We give him prasadam. So by prasadam, his hunger is material hunger is satisfied. At the same time, he is connected with Kṛṣṇa because he is eating Kṛṣṇa prasadam. Without him even knowing, he is getting purified because he is eating Kṛṣṇa prasadam. And slowly, that is explained in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. As you can see here, second chapter, 65th verse. You see this very nice verse, it is there. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyopajayate. See? Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyopajayate prasanna chetaso hyashu buddhi paryavatishthate. For one thus satisfied in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. Of course, this is as one who is thus satisfied in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So prasade means on achievement of the causeless mercy of the Lord. What is prasadam? Why we call it prasadam? Because that food is prasadam of the Lord, is a mercy of the Lord. So that, like even they say, I think in some movies also it is shown in the Bollywood that why are they pouring milk for the abhishek of the Lord? What is the use of wasting of the milk and what is it? But no, that milk can be collected and distributed as Charanamrita to thousands of people. So there is ways to, everything can be offered to the Lord and distributed to the people. Otherwise, why in our Vedic scriptures it is said we have to use ghee, we have to use milk, we have to use yogurt, panchamrita? Why? Panchagavya, all this why? These are things mentioned in the Vedas, and Vedas is Vedo Narayana Sakshat. Narayana is giving. So how can Narayana be wrong? So these have to be used. But the thing is, of course, the ethical treatment of the animals is completely off in Kali Yuga. We completely agree to that. But the thing is, what other choice is there? I mean, what other option is there for the deliverance of that animal particularly, which is going to be slaughtered and which is in that already that sinful place? Somehow or other, if that milk can go to Kṛṣṇa, that is benefited. And therefore, this vegan idea is not in the Vedas. It is a human concocted idea. And that also means rejecting the Vedic idea of using the cow. See, when something, again the same thing which we have discussed, I don't know if you have been in the beginning of this session, that we said when there is something like caste system, it is a scientific system given by the Lord, 4.13. I don't know if you have been there in the beginning of this class, but we have shown this verse. Chatur varnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha. And take note of this word, guna karma vibhagashaha. Tasya kartaram apinamam vidya akartaram avyayam. According to the three modes of material nature, guna and karma vibhagasha. Vibhag means division. Chatur varanyam maya srishtam. Krishna says, I have created this Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra according to their guna and karma, according to their work and activities and qualities. Tasya kartaram, okay, the next two lines are talking about himself. So, he has created this system, but now reformers have dissolved that system. That is not the solution. It was misused. So, it had to be rectified, but they abolished it. Like if I have a cataract in the eye, I have said this example in the beginning of the session today. If I have a cataract in the eye, the solution is not to remove the eye. Oh, you have an eye problem? All right, remove the eye. You will have no more eye problems because you will have no more eyes. That is not the solution. The solution is to rectify the problem. So the problem is the cataract. Take out the cataract and then yes, you will be able to see. But if I say that, oh, okay, you have an eye problem, sir. Okay, I will do operation. I'll take out the eye. You will have no more eye problems from now on. What kind of a solution is it? So this thing also is like that. Oh, because the cows are not being treated, total this thing has to be given up. No, it has to be done according to the Vedic injunctions given by Kṛṣṇa. Why Kṛṣṇa is drinking milk and not showing us an example? That's why he's a Go-Raksha. Go-Raksha. He's always, yes, we are also Go-Raksha. We are also for it. We even want to save those cows who are going for slaughter. So that milk, when it goes to Kṛṣṇa, the cow is saved. Next life, that soul, out of his heinous sins, he has been in that position now. Now that will be rectified in the next life. So he's already being slaughtered. It's bad. It's bad. We are not saying it. We are not condoning it at all. We are not condoning it. But at least if that milk, if that milk is not offered to Kṛṣṇa, the cow will just continue because he has not eaten beef only once. He has eaten beef for thousands of times, and he's eaten chicken, and he's eaten goat, and he's eaten eggs, and all these things you have to take life after life after life after life. But if that milk goes to Kṛṣṇa, that thing is cut. How many millions or thousands of lives he can save himself just by his milk being offered or her milk being offered to Kṛṣṇa. So that is there. So we are talking from that perspective. Now Sunita Mataji says, I used to be the biggest hardcore non-vegetarian, turned vegetarian in 2010. Very good, very good. And now turned vegan in 2011, simply because I connected the dots that if I love animals and nature, it goes against my consciousness to want to hurt anything or anyone with my act. Yes, so plants are also hurt. We actually cannot stop hurting. When we are walking, we are also hurting. Insects, we are stepping on it and killing them. When we are cooking, we cannot. That's why there is this verse. Where you're coming from, I really appreciate. But you have to take it to the next level. We have to understand that help means help the soul, not the body. Body we cannot really help. You see this. 18.48 of Bhagavad Gita. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham apinatyajet sarvarambha hi doshena dhumenagnir ivavritaha. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. This is Bhagavad Gita. Now, in conditioned life, all work is contaminated by the material modes of nature. Even if one is a Brahmana, he has to perform sacrifices in which animal killing is necessary. Of course, now not in Kali Yuga, but before. Even that killing also was not killing because they were getting new bodies. In front of everybody, the animal will get a new rejuvenated body. So, it's not exactly killing, but you have to actually sacrifice that animal. So, similarly, a Kshatriya, however pious he may be, has to fight enemies. He cannot avoid it. Similarly, a merchant, however pious he may be, must sometimes hide his profit to stay in business, or he may sometimes have to do business on the black market. These things are necessary, one cannot avoid them. Similarly, even though a man is a Shudra serving a bad master, he has to carry out the order of the master even though it should not be done. Despite these flaws, one should continue to carry out his prescribed duties, for they are born of his own nature, and then offer the results to Kṛṣṇa. Then, yes, a very nice example is given herein, although fire is pure, still there is smoke. Yet smoke does not make the fire impure. Even though there is smoke in the fire, fire is still considered to be the purest of all elements. If one prefers to give up the work of a Kshatriya and take up the occupation of a Brahmana, he is not assured that in the occupation of a Brahmana there are no unpleasant duties. Similarly, you have, out of your good nature, you have given up meat eating, which is very good, and you have taken to vegetarian and then become a vegan, but you are not assured that there are still unpleasant things that you have to do, because still plants are killed, and life is a life, whether it's a plant or whether it's an animal. Life is a life. It's the same. In the eyes of God, no one is higher or lower. Yes, in the species, yes, they will be higher or lower, but for God, just like a parent, one child may be very intelligent, one child may be very naughty, one child may be even mentally retarded, but for the parents, they love all of them. So similarly, Kṛṣṇa loves all of them. So we can't take any life without paying for it. The only way we can do is by following the order of Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa says, offer to me this. Okay, then yes. We offer that and then. So otherwise, even vegan food is full of sinful life. Because we are taking things which are meant, which are by the Lord, and we are taking without the proper process. And so life is a life and everything is sinful therefore. So you are not assured of becoming free from sin, or even as you have love for nature, still, again, you can't avoid killing, even in vegan life. So the only way it can be done, everything can be completely done nicely, is when we offer the food to Kṛṣṇa. Just like as a soldier. Now killing is bad. Killing is always bad, right? So, but when a soldier kills, the government rewards him. When he kills and kills the opposite party, then the government rewards him. Oh, bravery award. Now, that recognition is there for killing. Now, he can't say, oh, now I got this recognition, I will just kill people on the street. No, then he will be punished. He can't say in the court saying that, oh, why did you punish me for one kill in the street, and then I killed 100 people on the battlefield and you gave me a gold medal? Why? Because that killing was in the order of the government, whereas this killing was in his own accord. So, killing we can't avoid in this material world. Whether plant or animal, we can't avoid. So, we have to do on the order of the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Government. That killing, yes. So, animals are strictly no, but vegetables and milk, these can be offered to Kṛṣṇa. So, what can be offered? And even among vegetarian, cigarette is vegetarian, but we can't. It's not about being vegetarian or non-vegetarian. No, even onion and garlic we don't eat, because that is also not supposed to be eaten by human beings, as given in the Vedas. It is said that in the Manu Samhita that immediately one becomes a Chandala, Mlecha, if one eats onion and garlic. So although they are in vegetarian category, still they cannot be eaten. So it's not about being vegetarian or non-vegetarian. It's about what is acceptable to Kṛṣṇa or not. We are followers of Kṛṣṇa, not materialistic conceptions of vegetarian and non-vegetarian. These names have been given by materialistically involved ideologies. The people who are in that ideologies of materialistic ideas, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, just like Virendra Prabhu has given that word, what is that? Monotheism. Are we followers of are we monotheists? We believe in only one God. That is the name they have given. We are not into. Kṛṣṇa said, I am the Supreme, therefore we follow him. That's it. So we are just a yes man for Kṛṣṇa. That is what we are. So if Kṛṣṇa says, give me milk, yes, we will give milk. So that is the whole point here. How can we stop India being the biggest exporter of beef and chicken? Well, completely ban the whole thing ban. But how much the leaders are willing to take that drastic step? They will be bold enough, and that's the thing. First thing, people have to be educated. People have to be educated. What is correct? And education means Vedic education. We have everything in our Vedas. We have rejected it. We have accepted Western education. So everything will be Western. They are eating beef. We will also eat beef. That's what will happen. We have to replace our education system. Our Gurukul system, according to Vedic education, was perfect. We accepted the British education system when the Britishers came in. And that was the beginning of the end for India. So you can't stop one thing by not stopping it at its root. This beef and chicken, as much as we feel for it, It's a symptom of a real problem. It is not the real problem. It is a symptom of a real problem. The real problem is that people are not spiritually educated. That is the core of the problem. That Krishna consciousness is not being distributed. Therefore, our movement is based on distributing books. Because by distributing knowledge, then people will understand what to do and what not to do. And then automatically these things can be, changed. But if you just pass rule that, hey, come on, from tomorrow, no more cow. Everybody, what they will do? Big strike, even they will assassinate the leader also. Because people are nonsense, because they are not educated. And who is to be blamed? The leaders. So first of all, there has to be a grassroots education. And who elected the leaders? The people. So the people have to be, first of all, educated. So Sunita Mataji is asking, can you repeat why onion and garlic is not eaten? Is it because it disturbs our meditation and disturbs the mind? Yeah. So onion makes us filled with passion. Rajogun increases so much and sexual appetite increases so much by onion, and that is completely not good for our spiritual advancement. And garlic, it dulls our brain. So for a person who is advancing spiritually, he has to be very alert and very sharp with his memory, and garlic doesn't help with that. In fact, it is said in the Manu Samhita that if one eats onion and garlic, it is as good as eating pig and even beef. So these things are given in the Manu Samhita, 5th chapter, verses 15 and 19 in the Manu Samhita. I don't have it ready here to show you, but that is the thing. So Sunita Mataji says, I agree, sir, humans are the core of the problem. No, humans are not the problem again. If you say humans are the problem, they have to be eradicated. Just like now the virus is the problem, virus has to be eradicated. So if you say humans are the problem, humans have to be eradicated. No. The problem is there is no education. There is no spiritual education. Humans are not good or bad when they come out of the womb of the mother. They become good or bad by the education, by the upbringing. So if we have a system where this education of spiritual culture is brought about, and we don't have to search for it, we don't have to invent it, we don't have to discover, we don't have to brainstorm how to do it. No, it's already there. We just have to spread it. And that's exactly our mission in this Hare Krishna movement. Our mission is to spread the pure teachings of Krishna, which are beneficial for all humankind. And that's what we're doing. And if everybody can take to this, nobody is better than God. He is perfect. Any philosophy, any education that I create, that is going to be imperfect. But everything that is given by God is always perfect. If we see any imperfection in what is given by God, the imperfection is in me, not in God. I am seeing it wrongly. I am seeing it from a wrong perspective. And that's why people feel, oh, caste system, this has to be abolished. They feel a fault with something that was given by the Lord. But because it was misrepresented, misused, abused. But if it is properly used, if it is properly followed, then there's absolutely no fault in that. In fact, that is the only perfect form of civilization. Every other civilization is complete nonsense. Without the Varnashram system, there cannot be a proper explanation or proper establishment of social structure. What is happening now? No Brahmanas. We're not talking about Brahmanas by birth. That is not the fact. Brahmanas by quality. That's why our Hare Krishna movement, we create Brahmanas everywhere. We have Brahmanas in all countries. That is real Brahman, who is actually interested in God. He is real Brahman. So not a person who just wears a Janevu and then does nothing and then eats beef and does intoxication and then absolutely no spiritual culture, not even interested in God. That is rubbish. He is less than Shudra. Now, Brahmana is one who guides the society according to spiritual knowledge, according to Vedic science. And then the Kshatriyas are the administrators who have to rule on the advice of the Brahmanas. And the Vaishyas, they take care of the cow protection and agriculture produce. And then the Shudras, they help the others. Because some people, they can just work for others. They don't have special talents or but they also need a livelihood. So they serve others and get their livelihood. So this is Shudra. Today's education is not teaching anybody to become a Brahmana, Kshatriya also. Vaishyas, some, because trade, not even cow protection and agriculture much. Trade, yes. That is one of the activities of Vaishya, but that's not the main thing. If any surplus is there, then yes, trade. But otherwise, it's just for self-sufficiency. Then, Shudras. Shudras is what our modern education is creating. After graduation, the person has to be employed somewhere. If he can't serve someone, he is doomed. So this is Shudra education. Just producing Shudras. And say we are all equal, we are all equal. Oh, you should not say Shudra. No. But that's what the education is bringing about. Shudra education. So the whole people have to be educated on the whole thing. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. On Krishna consciousness. And then everybody work according to the guna and karma. And then the whole society will be good. Smoothly performing. And there should be no discrimination. The head does not discriminate, oh, your legs, your nonsense. No, legs are also necessary, head is also necessary, hands are also necessary, stomach is necessary. Similarly, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras are all different parts of the societal body. All are necessary. Nobody is to be discriminated against. We have to work in cooperation. We have to accept our differences. Just like the leg can't say, no, I want to be stomach. Stomach is doing nothing there, just sitting around, and I am working so hard, I am working day and night, I am walking here, walking there, and hands are also saying, no, I am also working so much. Yes, we should eat. Why the stomach is eating, doing nothing there, just sitting around? No. We cannot be equal. Equality is equal as soul, yes, we are all equal, but according to our body, we are not equal. So the whole point is not even to be equal, to be cooperative. Everyone has different roles to play, and they have to play that role. The legs have a role to play, walk, and the hands have a role to play, to work and to defend ourselves. And the brain has work, to organize everything. So all this work in tandem for the upkeep of the body. Similarly, for the upkeep of the society, everybody must work in cooperation, accepting our differences, and at the same time working in cooperation rather than competition for equality. That will solve the problem. Next, that was a long answer. Okay. Question by Prema Bhakti Mataji. Crude as it may sound, is Manashunyata akin to being shameless? No, not shameless, but Mana means pride, absence of false prestige. It's not shameless. Devotees are not shameless. They don't have pride, but they have they represent Krishna properly. It's not that they're shameless. So next question by Ayappa. Why? Oh wow, this has crossed over 3 hours. I'm so sorry. Ayappa asked the question, why Lord wears peacock feather always? Well, that is his wish. Why? Okay, when we ask the question why, that means there is a reason prior to it. Okay, for example, why do I have this bottle? Because I want to hold some water. So to hold some water was the first thought, and how to do it? Okay, let me get a bottle. So that means the why, the cause of the existence of the bottle in this room is because I had a desire, so I had a plan. So that plan is the first thing. So if you say that why Lord wears peacock feathers always, that means there is a cause beyond the Lord that governs the Lord. No, there's nothing. It's just His will. Everything is by His will. There's nothing beyond the Lord that obliges Him to wear peacock feathers. No. Next question by Murari Prabhu. COVID-19 when can finish? What you say? What I know. What I know. I'm not an astrologer. Whatever it is happening because of karma. That's what I can say. It's happening because of karma. For us, this is the worst time, 2020 is the worst year. But actually, for the rest of the world, it is much better than the other years, because we have been persistently, our human race has been torturing other races and the whole nature. For a while, at least, the nature got a breather, thanks to the 1 gram of COVID-19 that spread all over the world. 1 gram, and it has just put the human society on its knees. It's God's way of saying that who is superior here. With 1 gram, I can finish you off. So don't come and play with the. It's just a warning. Actually, I feel COVID-19 is not even a real threat. It's not even a real threat. If Krishna wanted, he could have given much, much worse. A pandemic or a war or a natural disaster. He could have done much worse than this. He just gave a very, very slight warning. COVID-19 is not even heavyweight. Heavyweight? Yeah. If you go to hell, if we read the Bhagavatam, the descriptions of hellish planet, then we will know what is actually heavy punishment. This is just like super lightweight. Yeah, as much as people have died and it is quite horrific, but compared to hellish punishment, this is super lightweight. Yeah. If we don't wake up to this lesson, we're just going to ask for more stricter punishments and harder punishments. Next question by Krishna Smaranam Prabhu. Students from Indian college is now saying, "What's up, dude?" What would you say to them? Then, I don't know. Actually, what is the question? What's up, dude? I don't know. So anyway, they're imitating the West. Yeah. So they have to know how to respect. Anyway, that's. I don't think they will allow me to say anything to them. This kind of people. So I don't know if I will even stand a chance. So if I do, then I'll say chant Hare Krishna. That's what I'll say. Give them a book if possible. All right. We'll stop here. Thank you very much for your time and putting up with me. Let me see. 25 of you are still here. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.